Lights are out. Back to green flag action, this time by. And we've got one cart spinning again. Looks to be the 10G of Goodall going around, coming out of 4. Gonna try to get things refired, and it's not gonna go. So we're gonna go back to caution. We'll give our carts a chance to get relined up again in this initial starting order that we have, so we'll stop them coming out of 4. Seems as though with the 2 cautions already underway for this heat race, it looks like we are opting to do a single file restart for these carts, and we will be sending the 10G of Goodall to the back of the field after those 2 initial cautions. Lights are out, single file leading onto the backstretch as the 100 of Marthler is going to lead the way through 3 and 4. Green flag is out. We're back to junior wing racing. Marthler, Tarvis, Hoffbeck, your top 3. Then a side-by-side battle is the 11 of Godfrey able to make his way up to 4th. Marthler had exactly what he needed on that start as he's able to pull away from the rest of the field. The 70 of Tarvis in tow, but only about 5 or 6 cart lengths behind. Then we have a nice little gap before we get back to the 14 of Hoffbeck, but Hoffbeck's got company. The 11 of Godfrey making his way to the inside. Another lap in the books for the 100 of Marthler. Marthler gonna lead another lap. Tarvis, Hoffbeck behind him. But the 11 of Godfrey still trying to get in on that podium action for this heat race. Single file throughout the field. Coming out of 3 and 4, white flag is out. One more lap to go for the 100 of Marthler. As Marthler pulls away from the rest of the field, absolutely dominating since this final restart. One last time out of 3 and 4, checkered flag is out. Give it up for your heat race winner, the 100 of Joseph Marthler. 70 of Owen Tarvis gonna finish second, and the 14 of Archer Hoffbeck gonna round out your top 3 as the 17 of Callan Haas spins it, coming out at 2. As a quick reminder to all our kiddos out there, we do have face painting Denise here right at the front gate area. Denise will be here for another hour until 7 o'clock. So if you're hoping to get your face painted, all you need to do is bring $5 on over to that front gate area, and she will be able to paint some faces here for another 65 minutes or so. On to our next heat race here, heat number 2 of our junior wing class. Row number 1, we have the 98 of Axel Haas from Boyd, Wisconsin, side by side with the 1S of Dylan Seibert from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Row number 2 sees the 3J of Jonathan Pettit III and the 8 of Alan Byrne. Kramer, Halapka, Fahrenholtz, Martin rounding out your field as the green flag flies. The 98 of Axel Haas going to lead the way into 1 and 2 with the 3J of Pettit right on his tail. Pettit looks to the inside, makes the pass complete coming out of 4. We have a new race leader on the front stretch. Pettit now up to the lead, Haas back to second, the 1S of Seibert in third, but he has some company from the 99 of Halapka. Halapka making his way up, sending his sights 3 wide on the front stretch. Halapka gonna now move up to the second place spot and set his eyes on the 3J of Pettit. Right now it's Pettit, Halapka, and Haas your top three. Then a side-by-side battle for fourth and fifth between the 2024 of Martin and the 1S of Seibert. Martin now up to third, able to get by the 98 of Haas. Don't count out the 8 of Alan Byrne, though. Byrne now making his way up, bumping and banging with Haas on the backstretch. Byrne gonna muscle his way up into that fourth place position. The 98 of Haas being pushed back all the way to sixth. Pettit, Halapka, and the 2024 of Martin now your top three, but Byrne gonna try to take over that third podium spot. Byrne dips to the inside through 3 and 4. White flag out, one more lap to go to see who takes the last step on our podium for this heat race. Out front alone though, checkered is flying for your heat race winner, the 3J of Pettit. Halapka gonna take second, and the 2024 of Martin gonna take an unofficial third. Our final junior wing heat of the night about to make their way out. Following them, we have the 250cc flat track bikes, one heat of our Sportsman flat carts, and then our 450cc flat track bikes to follow. For this final heat of our junior wing class, though, row 1 sees the 30 of Chautauqua, Wisconsin's Nathan Gunderson side by side with the 31 of Grant Keller from Menominee, Wisconsin. Superior, Wisconsin's 1T of Tanner Johnson on the inside of row 2, with the outside of row 2 being the 20 of Mason Lockburner from Bruce, Wisconsin. 15 JR of Luke Patterson and the 22E of Ethan Martineau on the third row. The 10B of Joseph Bargender and Kennedy Cluckus racing the 8K in your fourth and final row. Lights are out, side by side going into 1 and 2, but we're gonna have a caution, not quite the start we're hoping for. Not exactly the start we were looking for this final heat race, so we're gonna get them redoubled back up and ready to go. Lights are out. Green flag this next time by. This start looks good. Green flag is flying, and the 30 of Gunderson gonna lead the way in the lone leader position. But he's got company behind, though. The 31 of Keller looking to the outside. Keller trying to take over the lead. Keller ducks low on the front stretch, side by side into 1. Keller gonna secure that lead. The 30 of Gunderson back to second, and the 1T of Johnson holding on to that third place spot. Out front alone, still the 31 of Keller. Gunderson, Teller, or Johnson in your top three, but don't count out the 15 JR of Patterson. Patterson looking to the outside of the 1T of Johnson, trying to get into that third place spot. A little slipping and sliding is going to push the 15 JR of Patterson back. Now we're single file throughout the field. Keller, Gunderson, Johnson your top three. Patterson, I believe that's Bargender. The 10B of Bargender right behind, trying to make the pass up on Patterson. Bargender now up to fourth. Even spacing between our top 4 competitors. Then we have a nice little battle for 5th and 6th. Patterson currently in 5th. The 20 of Lockburner trying to make his way by. Checkered flag is out, though. The 31 of Keller going to be your heat race winner. Gunderson going to take second, and the 1T of Johnson going to round out your top 3 for this third and final heat race of our junior wing class. Now, as a reminder, these last 3 classes we're going off passing points. So we'll be seeing the top 4 from each heat race passing point-wise, making a direct transfer to the A main. The rest of our competitors will be going into a B main here after the heats, where we will decide the last 2 carts being transferred into the main. Back to 2 wheels though, our 250cc flat track class. We'll give them a lap to get their bikes all situated and ready to go, but our starting lineup looks like this. Starting out front, we have the 44 of Stanchfield, Minnesota's Dan Jacobson, the 43L of Scott Walter from Amory, Wisconsin, the 68 of Mike Foley, the 32 of Gerald Chamberlain from Hillsboro, Wisconsin, the 47 of Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, Xander Figliuzzi, and the 283 of Chase Stevens, rounding out your 6-bike field. Bikes at the line, good to go, lights are green, who's it gonna be? 283 of Chase Stevens gonna take the early hole shot. Figliuzzi looking to the outside though. Side by side in 3 and 4. Figliuzzi looks to the outside. Nothing quite going on the front stretch. Gonna try to secure the pass in 1 and 2. Figliuzzi makes it by clean. Figliuzzi up to the lead. Stevens in second. And the 44 of X Games competitor Dan Jacobson holding on to 3. Jacobson, last night's feature race winner in the 250cc class. Right behind him, we have Walters and Chamberlain. And rounding out our 6-bike field, we have the 68 of Foley. Even spacing for our top 3 competitors, as Chamberlain's able to make his way up to the 4th place position and set his eyes on the 44 of Dan Jacobson Jr. 47 of Figliuzzi sliding it into 1 and 2 and backing it into 3 and 4. Some nice slideways action here in our 250cc heat race. Another lap in the books for the 47 of Figliuzzi. Stevens still in second. Jacobson rounding out your top 3. Don't count out the 32 of Chamberlain, as he's still setting his sights on the 44 of Jacobson. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go for Figliuzzi. And 1 final time through 3 and 4, your 250cc flat track bike heat race winner, the 47 of Xander Figliuzzi, taking away the heat race win. Chase Stevens gonna take second. And the 44 of Dan Jacobson gonna round out your top 3 for our 250cc flat track bikes. Next out on the track, we're gonna add a couple tires again as we bring out our Sportsman flat kart racers. 6 racers in this class. Starting on the inside of row 1, we see the 99 of Jason Supri from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, side by side with the 55 of Trayton Vlachek from Rock Falls, Wisconsin. Inside row number 2, there's the 35 of Baldwin, Wisconsin's Dylan Alton, and the 555 of Matt Vlachek from Hudson, Wisconsin. And rounding out your 3-row field, we have the 74 of Jake Johnson and the 100 of Drew Alton. 6 karts, 8 laps for our single heat of Sportsman flat karts. 99 of Supri gonna lead them into the first turn, but we've got some side-by-side action on the back stretch. Supri still your lone leader going on to the front stretch. Right behind him though, we have the 55 of Trayton Vlachek holding on to that 2nd place spot, looking to take over the lead from Supri. Vlachek looks to the inside, 3 and 4, gonna make the pass stick on the front stretch, but Supri's not going without a challenge. Vlachek secures the lone lead. Supri looks to the inside, ducks down in 3 and 4, able to repass for the lead. Supri back up to the top spot. Just behind him though, the 100 of Drew Alton sits in 3rd, setting his eyes on our 2 leaders, trying to make sure that if either of one of them makes a mistake, he's able to capitalize on it. And just as I say that, the 55 of Vlachek pushes up. That's going to draw the rest of our competitors in closer. Supri now looking to the inside of Vlachek. Nothing there. Alton still high. Alton ducks low in 3 and 4, able to move up to 2nd place. Out front alone still. It's still the 55 of Trayton Vlachek. Lechek liking the high point in the corners. Alton liking the low spot. Alton gonna duck down low in 3 and 4, gonna try to slide up on Lechek. Nothing going there, bumping and banging onto the front stretch. White flag is out, one more lap to go. Lechek, Alton, Supri, who's it gonna be as we've got carts bumping and banging. One racer out of his cart in 2. We'll take the checkered. But we've got 2 carts up and around. Coming out of 2, bumping and banging. One racer flying out of their cart. I believe that's the 555 of Matt Vlachek who came out. Our medical scene on the ground, making sure that everyone is okay.
Go back to yellow, Gunner. They're trying.
With that wreck coming out of 2, took my eyes off the leaders, but it seems as though it's the 99 of Supri who was able to take the heat race win. Both our racers still checking up on them in turn 2, making sure everyone is okay and good to go. Obviously, safety is our main priority here at Thunderhill Speedway, so we want to make sure everyone's good before we send them all off. Everyone is up and walking, which is what we always like to see here. Let's give it up for all of our competitors in that Sportsman flat cart class. Always scary to see when not only a cart goes around, but especially when someone's rocketed out of their cart. So we're glad to see that everyone is okay here after that very electric heat race. In the meantime, while our medical staff is still evaluating, or our track workers are working there in turns 2 and on the back stretch, we'll start getting ready for our next couple classes. Flat track bikes. Following them, we have 2 heats of our 125 250 wing class, followed by 2 heats of our class, and rounding out our heat races, we will have 2 heats of our natural touch landscaping micro sprint division. And a quick update on our 450 flat track bikes. So we are splitting that class into 2 heats. So 9 racers total. We will have 5 racers in heat number 1, 4 racers in heat number 2, just to make sure that everyone is to spot for their feature later on tonight. We don't want too much bumping and banging going on in a heat race. So our first 5 competitors for our 450cc flat track class sees the 67 of Kevin Walter from Fall River, Wisconsin, the P51 of Paxton Wentz from Howard, South Dakota, the 22 of Miles Morris out of Foxborough, Wisconsin, the 18 of Justice Lund from Lenox, South Dakota, and the 76 of Jacob Walter, rounding out our 5-bike heat race number 1 for our 450cc race. 67 of Walter going to take the middle spot. Wentz looking to the deep inside. Morris looking to the high line. All our bikes are set and ready to go. Lights are out and away we go for our 450cc flat track class. Side by side in 1 and 2. Can't even tell who the whole shot's going to, as Wentz on the inside and the 18 of Lund are side by side going around that first lap. Wentz securing the solo lead going into 1 and 2. Don't count out the 76 of Walter. Walter now up to second past the 18 of Lund. Wentz, Walter, Lund and the 67 of Walter number 2. Wenz, Jacob Walter, your top 2 racers. Lund in 3rd, Kevin Walter in 4th, and then a little bit of space before we get back to the 22 of Morris. Single file throughout the field. We have a 2-bike pack up front with Wenz and the 76 of Jacob Walter. Then a little bit of space before we get back to Lund and the 67 of Kevin Walter. Walter looks to the inside. Jacob Walter able to make the pass stick. We have a new heat race leader going into 1 and 2. Wenz isn't going to go without a fight, though. Wenz looks high in 3 and 4, ducks down low on the front stretch. 1 lap left to go for our racers. One final time onto the back stretch. Jacob Walter able to pull away slightly from Paxton Wenz. Checkered flag is out. Who's it going to be? The 76 of Jacob Walter going to take your heat race win. P51 of Wenz finishing 2nd. And the 67 of Kevin Walter going to round out your top 3. Wenz in the middle of a Walter sandwich in the ending of that 450 heat race number 1. Heat race number 2, we have 4 competitors for our 450cc flat track bikes. Starting off on the inside, we have the 89 of Bo Sharp from West Bend, Wisconsin. Next to him, the 251 of Scott Walter out of Amory, Wisconsin. The 47 of Xander Figliuzzi, fresh off a 250cc heat race win. And rounding out this 4-bike field, we have the 25 of Corton Van de Zander out of Lake Mills, Wisconsin. We're going to give our bikes a couple laps to make sure their tires are all set to ready to go and that they have a good understanding of this racing surface. Now we'll slow them down, set them up at the line, and get ready to go back to some green flag action. Bikes are good. Light is green. And it's going to be Figliuzzi taking the whole shot, leading us into turns 1 and 2. Fresh off his 250cc heat race win, Figliuzzi is going to do the same in this heat race so far. Figliuzzi leading the way. Scott Walter currently holding 2nd, but he's taking some battles from Van de Zand in 3rd. Van de Zand able to make a pass on the outside in 3 and 4. Walter going to fight back on the front stretch. Side by side going into 1 and 2. It's Walter, it's Van de Zand, it's Van de Zand, it's Walter. Van de Zand's able to take the early lead on the straightaways, but Walter's definitely got him in the corners. Out here for all racing though, consistency is key. Figliuzzi gonna put in another lap as we still have that side-by-side battle brewing for 2nd and 3rd. Walter moves up to the inside of 1 and 2 with the early advantage, but Van de Zand taking over the lead on the backstretch. Then a little bit of space before we get back to the 89 of Bo Sharp rounding out your 4-bike field. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go for Figliuzzi and co. As Walter is now holding on to that 2nd place position. 1 more time out of 3 and 4. Your heat race winner is going to be the 47 of Figliuzzi, but who's got 2nd? Side by side, the 251 of Walter going to end up finishing 2nd. Van de Zand going to round out your top 3, and Bo Sharp finishing 4th. That brings our flat track bike heat races to a close, with our last 6 heat races of the evening going back to 4 wheels. race number 1 for our 125-250 wing class. 5 competitors in both heat races. Starting off for heat 1, inside row number 2, we have the 20S of Cooper Sunby from Menominee, Wisconsin, side by side with the 311 of Jamison Schur from Balsam Lake, Wisconsin. Row number 2 has the 13B of Brexton Platts from Mason City, Iowa, and on the outside of row 2, the 8 of Brody Conkey out of Elk Mound, Wisconsin. And rounding out your 5-cart field, we have the 25 of Sky Peterson out of Pella, Iowa. Looks like we're missing one of our competitors for this heat race. The 25 of Sky Peterson seeming not to make the call. Our 250 wings getting a couple laps here at the beginning to make sure their motors are all warmed up and ready to go for their heat race. And now we'll get them all lined up and ready to go for the official start of heat number 1 for our 250 wing competitors. Four racers lining up. 8 laps for our heat race 1. Lights are out, green next time by. Sunby gonna lead them into 3 and 4. Lights are down. Sunby leading the crowd, but down on the inside, it's gonna be the 8 of Conkey leading the way on the backstretch. Conkey now up to the lead position. Sunby back to 2, and then a side-by-side battle for 3 and 4 between the 13B of Platts and the 311 of Schur. Single file throughout the field. Conkey, Sunby, Platts, Schur, 1, 2, 3, 4. Conkey able to make his way past the 20S of Sunby. He is pulling away from the rest of the field. An open track ahead of him as we see the 311 of Schur pulling into the infield. Schur's heat race has come to a close. 5 on the lineup, 4 at the start, 3 now down in this heat race. Evenly spaced throughout the field. Conkey, Sunby, and Platts your top 3. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go for the 8 of Brody Conkey. And just like that, checkered flag is out for your heat race winner, the 8 of Elk Mound, Wisconsin's Brody Conkey. Five on the lineup, 4 at the start, 3 at the end. But heat race number 2 will see 5 racers in this class. Inside of row number 1, we have Indianola, Iowa's 6D of Riley Dawson side by side with the 2.0 of Jackson Helland out of Cadott, Wisconsin. Row number 2, we have the 29 of Dorchester, Wisconsin's Abigail Blazel, and racing out of Rice Lake, Wisconsin, the 22 of Davin Hawk. And in that third and final row, rounding out our 5-cart field, we have the 52 of Knox Peterson out of Pello, Iowa. We'll give our carts a lap to get their engines all warmed up and ready to go for their heat race before we line them up in their correct starting formation. For all those at home, or for all those in the stands who have family and friends at home who aren't able to make it out tonight, make sure you direct their attention to MBTV Sports, where we are streaming this race live on mbtvsports.com, their Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter this evening. And thank you to all our viewers on MBTV Sports right now. Lights are down. Dawson leads them through 3 and 4. Green flag is flying. Dawson, your sole leader through 1 and 2, but the 22 of Hawk is trying to make his way up. Hawk tucks to the inside. Side by side on the front stretch, leading into 1. Hawk gonna have the advantage, but Dawson's not going without a fight. Dawson gets pushed back to 2nd, tucks into the inside. Hawk secures the solo lead going into 1 and 2. Hawk, Donson, Helland your top 3, but Helland's got company side by side with the 52 of Peterson. Peterson ducks to the inside. Peterson now up to 3rd. Helland back to 4th. 29 of Blazel rounding out your 5-cart field. Up front alone, though, it's still the 22 of Davin Hawk. Slowly but surely pulling away from the 6D of Riley Dawson. Hawk with about a 12-cart length advantage over Dawson, and Dawson's about to have company by the 52 of Peterson. Peterson looks low, gets a little sideways coming out of 2, has to back off a bit. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go. Out front alone though, your heat race winner, the 22 of Davin Hawk gonna take the win. 60 of Peterson gonna finish 2nd. And the 52 of Peterson rounding out your top 3. Hawk, Dawson, Peterson, Helland, Blazel.
They canceled those tonight.
On to our next class of the evening, our Legends Direct class. 2 heats for our Legends, followed by 2 heats of our Natural Touch Landscaping Micro Sprints this evening. In heat number 1 for our Legends Direct class, inside of row number 1, we have the 94 of Levi Brower out of Ridgeland, Wisconsin, side by side with the 7K of Josiah Kashadi out of Ramsey, Minnesota. Last night's feature race winner, Kashadi, first year back on dirt since 2017, where he was racing dirt go-karts. But this is year 12 of racing for Kashadi. Row number 2, we have the 64 of Chris Sleep and the 7F of Lily Fassbender. And rounding out our 3-row field, we have the 22G of Colfax, Wisconsin's Mark Brower and the 49 of Aiden Erickson out of Cumberland, Wisconsin. 6 cars, 8 laps for heat number 1 of our Legends Direct class. Green flag is out. And it's going to be the 94 of Brower leading their way through 1 and 2. Just behind him, Kashadi's looking to the inside, but don't count out the 64 of Sleep. Sleep making a move to the inside. Sleep now up to 2nd, setting his eyes on the lead. Brower looks high, Sleep looks low, but Brower's going to have the advantage on the backstretch. Side by side on the front stretch. Sleep to the inside, Brower to the outside. Sleep now gonna secure the lead, but Brower's not gonna go without a fight. Sleep up to the solo lead. Brower in 2nd, Kashadi in 3rd. Just like last night, Brower really liking that ultra high line. Kashadi and Sleep staying down to the deep inside. That time by on the backstretch, Kashadi had the slight advantage over Brower in 2nd, but Brower's still holding on to that 2nd place spot. Sleep, Brower, Kashadi, your top three. Right behind them, we have the 49 of Erickson, the 7F of Fassbender, and the 22G of Mark Brower. White flag is out, one more lap to go for the 64 of Chris Sleep. Checkered flag is out, 3 cars won it. Who's it gonna be? Sleep takes the win, and side by side across the start-finish line, I believe it's gonna be the 94 of Brower taking second, with the 7K of Josiah Kashadi rounding out your top three. Heat race number 2 for our Legends Direct class. 5 competitors. Starting off on the inside of row number 1, we have the 7 of Arkansas, Wisconsin's Shadow Kitchener, side by side with the 14T of Talon Newman out of Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. Inside row number 2, we have Abigail Blazel piloting the 29, next to the 59S of Hayden Schmuel from Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. And rounding out your 5-car field, we have Sun Prairie, Wisconsin's Cade Reisdorf racing the 57. Our cars are all lined up in their correct starting order, heading on to the back stretch. Kitchener's gonna lead them through 3 and 4. Green flag is out. Kitchener with the solo lead into 1 and 2. Down to the inside, Blazel's peeking in. Gonna hold off for 3rd, but it's the 14T of Newman holding on to that 2nd place spot. Blazel spinning it in 3 and 4. Blazel back to fighting for 3rd, back to the back of the field. It's now Kitchener and Newman up front. The 59S of Schmuel moving up to that 3rd place spot. Schmuel trying to get in on the action as the 14T of Newman now your leader. 29 of Blazel spinning it in 3 and 4, able to make another half lap, gonna spin it in 3, and this one will draw the caution. This will give our cars a chance to get relined up in their correct starting order and give Blazel a chance to go to the back of the field where she'll be at least up by the rest of the cars. In the meantime, while we get our carts reordered, want to give a quick thank you to our sponsors for tonight's Harvest Hustle: Lone Tree Creek Race Park, Colburn Manufacturing Company, and Lewis Bjork and Family Septic Service. They're the reason why we're all able to be here racing tonight, so make sure you give them all your thanks. Lights are out. Green flag is flying. Kitchener's going to lead them into 1 and 2. Newman looking with the high line, gonna try to duck down on the backstretch. It's Kitchener, Newman, Schmuel your top 3, as Blazel looks to the inside of the 57 of Reisdorf. Reisdorf gonna hold on for 4th, Blazel right behind. Kitchener, Newman, Schmuel, Reisdorf, Blazel your top 5 as it currently stands. That ultra high line definitely working wonders for the 7 of Shadow Kitchener as he's able to pull away from the rest of the field. 14T of Newman liking that deep inside line. Drifting a little high coming out of 2. This will give the 59 of Schmuel a chance to duck down to the inside. Schmuel now battling to take over that 2nd place spot. Out front alone though, pulling away from the rest of the field. The 7 of Shadow Kitchener putting on an absolute clinic here in these last couple laps. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for Arkansas, Wisconsin's Shadow Kitchener. The battle to watch is for 2nd and 3rd though. Newman has it, Schmuel wants it. Who's it gonna be? Checkered flag is out for the 7 of Kitchener. Second place going to go to the 14T of Newman, with the 59S of Schmuel going to hold on for third. This will bring us to our final 2 heat races of the night. Our micro sprint class coming out next. Heat number 1 for our natural touch landscaping micro sprint. It has 7 competitors in it. Inside row number 1, we have the X of Duluth, Minnesota, Paul Residlo, side by side with the C71 of Carter Jensrud, last night's birthday boy. Inside row number 1, we have double Hales, as Matty Hale on the 28X and Mason Hale on the 28 are side by side. Row number 3, we have the 323 of Tyler Polofsky out of St. Michael, Minnesota, side by side with the 2X of Clint Nelson from Rock Valley, Iowa. And rounding out our 7-cart field on the inside of row number 4, we have the 128 of Marshall Willing out of Becker, Minnesota. Now, one thing you will notice about this class is a little bit different from normal. They have removed their wings tonight, so we are wingless for our micro sprint class. Lights go green. Residlo's going to lead them onto the front stretch. Jensrud taking the ultra high line, going to slingshot his way onto the back stretch. Residlo liking that ultra low inside line as they go side by side on the front. Residlo, Jensrud, hail your top 3 as it stands. And that high line works for Jensrud as he's able to make his way past. Jensrud now up to the lead. Residlo back to second. Mason Hale in third, but Mason's got competition right behind him. Jensrud, Residlo, and then side-by-side action as the 2X of Nelson is able to make his way up. Nelson from the back of the field, now up to third, setting his sights on that second place spot. Jensrud pulling away from the rest of the field as he has an open track ahead of him. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go for yesterday's birthday boy. One last time through 3 and 4. Jensrud going to take the checkered flag. The battle to watch is for second. Who's it going to be? Side by side onto the front stretch. The 2X of Clint Nelson going to take second. Residlo going to move back to third. Up next, we have our final heat race of the evening, but before we get to our intermission, we will have our 2 B mains, our R-Box B main followed by our Junior Wing B main. So make sure you stick on out here for our last 2 B mains before we head to intermission. But for any kids out in the stands, just a reminder, we have 30 more minutes for face painting. Denise will be painting faces up by the entrance. So you have 30 minutes if you haven't already to head on down there and purchase a face painting. For our starting lineup for heat number 2 of our Natural Touch Landscaping Micro Sprint class, starting on the inside of row number 1, we have the 4J of Princeton, Minnesota's Joe Snow, lining up next to the 19L of Landry Singleton out of Mora, Minnesota. Inside row number 2, the 249X of Brendan Newville from Clear Lake, Wisconsin, and Owen Hendricks piloting the 10 out of St. Cloud, Minnesota. Inside row number 3, the 99 of Mason Seibert from Welch, Minnesota, and the 88 of Caleb Moen out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And rounding out that 7-cart field, alone in the 4th row, we have the 26P of Jackson Peters out of Waupun, Wisconsin. 7 carts, 8 laps, as the green light flies. Newville gonna lead the way. Joe Snow up to the outside, as we're nearly 4 wide through 3 and 4. Newville taking that inside low line. Moen gonna slide up high. We're swipping and swatching all throughout this field. Moen with the ultra high line, Newville with that deep inside line. Moen gonna take the lead that time by. Moen now up to the front. Newville back to second as we have the 99 of Schubert in third. Moen, Newville, Schubert, Snow your top four. Singleton sitting in fifth with some competition right on his tail in sixth. I believe that's the 26P of Peters. And rounding out your 7-cart field, we have the 10 of Hendricks. Out front alone though, white flag is flying for the 88 of Caleb Moen. One more lap to go for Moen and crew. And one final time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag is flying for your heat race winner, the 88 of Caleb Moen gonna take the win. 99 of Schubert gonna finish second, and the 249X of Brendan Newville gonna round out your top 3 for heat race number 2. That right there will conclude our heat race action for the evening, but don't get up just yet as we have 2 B mains to go through before we hit our intermission. Our first B main of the night is going to be our R-Box class here. 8 racers trying to get into that A main. Only 2 of them are going to transfer through though. Starting off on the inside of row number 1, we have the 21M of Owen Malmgren out of Woodville, Wisconsin, side by side with the 85 of Thatcher Nelson from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Row number 2 sees the 26 of Kimber Zimmer from Spring Valley, Minnesota, and the 19H of Henrik Hollerud. Row number 3, we have the 36 of Henry Junker and the 21 of Palmer Haas out of Thorpe, Wisconsin. And rounding out that 8-cart 4-row field, inside row number 4, we have the 2R of Rosie Shilka out of Osseo, Wisconsin, and the 777 of Austin Hover from Hudson, Wisconsin. Seems like we have 7 of our carts lining up. It looks to be that we're missing the 26 of Zimmer, who's just now making his way out onto the field. Zimmer gonna come up and take his spot on the inside of row number 2. And now that we have all of our carts set and ready to go, I believe we will be sending them off right as Zimmer pulls into his spot. And just like that, we're all good, all set and ready to go as we get the back of our field relined up in their correct order. And there we go. Starting lineup is good for our B main of our R-Box races. 8 racers, 8 laps. Only the top 2 advancing to our A main later on this evening. Malmgren gonna lead them through 3 and 4. Green flag is out as we have 2 carts going around in 4. I believe that's the 36 of Junker and the 26 of Zimmer going around. Seems as though Junker and Zimmer got hooked. Green flag is out all as we have get everyone 2 carts up going around. We have a clean start this time by. I believe that's the 36 of Junker and the 26 of Our carts are relined up in their correct starting order. Lights are out. We'll be sending them green this time by. Green flag is flying. We're R-Box racing as the 36 of Junker has made his way up to battle for that second place spot. Junker from the inside of row 3, now in that final transfer spot, but don't count out the 85 of Thatcher Nelson, who's not going to go without a fight. Nelson looks to the outside, Junker to the inside, but Junker going to secure that second and final transfer spot. Now this race, ladies and gentlemen, the spots we're going to be wanting to look at are these top 2 competitors, as they are the only ones transferring through to the A Main later on this evening. Junker slides up to the lead. Malmgren dumps down low. Side by side on the backstretch. Junker with the advantage going into 3. Junker now the solo leader in this B Main. Malmgren back to 2. The 21 of Palmer Haas moving up to 3rd. Haas setting his sights on that final transfer position. Junker, Malmgren, Haas, and the 2R of Shilka, your top 4. Just outside, we have the 85 of Thatcher Nelson, the 26 of Kimber Zimmer, and rounding out your field, we have the 19H of Hollerud and the 777 of Hover. And just like that, the 21 of Haas is able to make his way up into that second and final transfer position. Going into 3, it looks like we have the 2R of Shilka bumping and banging with the 21M of Malmgren. Shilka spinning Malmgren around, trying to get by. Haas is able to make his way up into that second and final transfer position. We'll throw the caution on that one and make sure our carts are in their correct restarting order. Of Haas is able to make his way up into that second. Into 3, it looks like we have the We've got our cart stopped in 4, making sure that everyone is in their correct restart order, as it looks like the 2R of Shilka trying to bump their way into those top 2 positions there before we get back to the restart. For those watching on MBTV Sports right now, it seems like Junker's transponder isn't quite working, but Junker is our current race leader. Leading them through 3 and 4, green flag is flying. Junker and the 21 of Haas gonna lead the way into 1 and 2. Right behind them, we have a side-by-side battle between the 2R of Shilka and the 85 of Nelson. Junker and the 21 of Haas still leading the way around the field, single file throughout the pack. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go for our current race leader. The spot to watch, though, is on that second place position, the final transfer spot. The 21 of Haas has it, but there's a 2-cart battle for 3rd and 4th. Checkered flag is out for the 36 of Henry Junker, and the 21 of Palmer Haas is going to take that second and final transfer spot. This brings us to our second and final B main of the evening as we head into our junior wing B main. 12 competitors, and once again, only our top 2 will be making it into the A main later on this evening. Starting off on the inside of row number 1, we have the 8 of Trempealeau, Wisconsin's Alan Byrne, side by side with the 19 of Jacob Demmel out of Owatonna, Minnesota. Inside row number 2, we have the 1S of Dylan Seibert from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and the 15 JR of Luke Patterson from Farmington, Minnesota. Row number 3 has the 8K of Kennedy Cluckus and the 98 of Axel Haas. Row 4 sees the 20 of Mason Lochburner from Bruce, Wisconsin, and the 17X of Menominee, Wisconsin's Kinsey Anderson. Row number 5, we have Bentley Kramer piloting the 10, and Mason Goodall piloting the 10G. And inside that 6th and final row, we have the 22E of Ethan Martineau and the 21 of Ashton Fahrenholtz. 12 carts, 10 laps, only 2 can go to the main. Not quite the start we wanted here, so we're going to give our carts a chance to reline up in their correct starting order before we get back to some green flag action. We've got our carts all relined up and ready to go again. We'll be sending them green this time by. Byrne and Demmel gonna lead them into 3 and 4. Green flag is out, and this start is clean, we're good. Side by side into 1 and 2. Byrne gonna take over the solo lead. Demmel just to the outside in second, and they're gapping the rest of the field as we have one cart spinning on the backstretch. Our cart's able to turn his way around so that we won't go under caution. So out front alone, it's the 8 of Byrne and the 19 of Demmel leading the way. A little bit of space before Patterson gets into the side of Seibert. This one will draw the caution as we've got carts going all around through 3 and 4. We'll give our carts a chance to get relined up in their correct starting order, so we'll stop them in turn 4 just to make sure that we have everyone correct, set, and ready to go before we get back to some green flag action. Once again, as a reminder for everyone here in the grandstands, if you have any family or friends at home who weren't quite able to make it out for tonight's action, make sure to direct them to mbtvsports.com, where we have live streams going of tonight's full event, streaming on the website, YouTube page, Facebook, and Twitter. So even though they may not be here, they're still able to be part of the action. And just like that, it looks like we do have our correct restart order for our junior wing class. Single file going onto the backstretch. We'll restart them this way as we head into 3 and 4. Light goes green. Byrne gonna lead them into 1 and 2. Demmel just behind. Make sure to keep an eye on the 15 JR of Patterson as he's trying to take over that final transfer spot that Demmel's currently holding. Byrne and Demmel gonna pull away from the rest of the field on the front stretch as our only 2 transfer positions are able to make their gap on the rest of the field, trying to secure their spot in our A main later on this evening. Single file throughout the field, but close battles as we get to the middle and back of the pack. Byrne, Demmel, Patterson, Haas, and then we have a three-way battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Right now it looks like it's the 8K of Kennedy Cluckus currently holding on, but we're 3 wide through 3 and 4. Cluckus has the spot. It's the 20 of Lockburner and the 10 of Kramer that are hoping to take it. And just as I say it, one of our carts spins in 2. Seems to be the 10 Lockburner and the 10 Kramer, I believe, that are hoping to take it. And just as I say it, one of our carts spins Lockburner and the 10 of Kramer going to go around in 2. This will bring out the caution. Just as I say it, one of our carts re-lined up, re-centered before we go back to some green flag action. Looks like our restart order is good to go as we send our carts onto the backstretch one more time with our green flag flying next time onto the straight. Green flag is out. Burns going to lead them into 1 and 2 as we have 5 laps left to go in this junior wing B main. Byrne, Demmel, Patterson, Haas your top 4. But it's Byrne and Demmel that have those only 2 transfer spots onto the A main later on. And they're slowly but surely gapping the rest of the field as they set a 10-15 cart gap in between the 3rd place cart of the 15JR of Patterson. Byrne and Demmel, as they've had for the entire race, are out front alone. Coming out of 3 and 4, Byrne's going to see the white flag. 1 more lap to go for our junior wing competitors. And just like that, what seems like might have been an easy race for them, checkered flag is out for the 8 of Alan Byrne taking away the B main win, and Jacob Demmel in the 19 taking those final 2 transfer positions into our junior wing A main event later on this evening. Alrighty folks, that right there will bring us to our intermission. Feel free to take a few moments to get up, stretch your legs, head on down to the concession stand, grab a nice warm bite to eat, a cold beverage to sip on, and for the kiddos here, you do have about 10 more minutes for face painting Denise to paint your faces over by the gate entrance. Feel free to head on down there before she leaves at 7 o'clock. We will see everyone back here in about 10 or 15 minutes when we get back to green flag action on our main events this evening.
Freight is the backbone of the country, and as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bowl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small, we love them all. But we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years.
Kevco has been an industry leader in high-performance oil pans and components for over 35 years. Made in Fairmont, Minnesota, Kevco prides itself on being American-made. Kevco has expanded our product line way beyond just oil pans to valve covers, breather systems, jack stands, boilers, wheel sockets, and much, much more. Check out KevcoRacing.com to see everything we have to offer, including our line of street, off-road, and performance oil pans and accessories. Or call 800-770-3557 to talk with our friendly customer service today.
My two passions in life is racing and selling good high-end meat. So my grandfather came here from Germany back in the late 20s. He decided to open his own shop in 1951. He had all the recipes, he had all the talent. His father was a meat guy. His father's father was a butcher. They weren't football players, basketball players. They were in the meat business. And that's our family. That's what we're good at. Old World Meats was derived from Frank's Meats. That was my grandfather's name. I know the quality of my beef is the best because I've purchased it directly from the ranchers that certified Angus beef. We know what our beef is continuously, and it's very consistent. So we're located up here in Duluth on beautiful Lake Superior, just a stone throw off of Highway 61. I've lived here my whole life, and it's where I wanted to raise my family. To be successful, you need to have a talent. And I knew I was going to be in the meat business. I can taste spices, I can pick out flavors, where they need to come in, where they need to stop. So knowing your strengths are important and knowing where you came from. We have a hot snack stick that's got actually 8 different spices of heat in that, and it layers the flavors in the heat. That's what makes the difference with our product. The most exciting part was becoming coast to coast with the Old World Meats snack sticks. My neighbor stopped me on the street and said, "Paul, I was just down in Georgia and this gas station had your product." It was one of the highlights of the year. I don't know of a state at this point that we haven't had product in. Being in business in a small town really puts things into perspective. It's the little things for me to be appreciated and respected. So this whole operation here, it doesn't have to be the biggest, but it needs to have passion. And today, I'm changing lives of people that work with me. My guys are learning lifelong skills and values. That's the good stuff. Let's make the world a better place. Let's have a good time at it.
Thousands of chopper parts, a 90-day return policy, and with thousands of chopper parts, a 90-day return policy, and free shipping on orders over $100, throttleaddiction.com is the best place to build your dream bike. Check out their selection of custom handlebars, fuel tanks, made in the USA hardtails, and so much more. For more than a decade, Throttle Addiction has been manufacturing and selling the best custom parts on the market. Build, custom. With thousands of chopper parts, a 90-day return policy, and free shipping on orders over $100, throttleaddiction.com is the best place to build your dream bike. Check out their selection of custom handlebars, fuel tanks, made in the USA hardtails, and so much more. For more than a decade, Throttle Addiction has been manufacturing and selling the best custom parts on the market. Build, customize, and ride. throttleaddiction.com.
The My Race Pass app is your motorsports headquarters on race night. With nearly 900 organizations around the world across multiple forms of motorsports, you'll always have the information you need in the palm of your hand. Race day information with official entries, lineups, live timing and drag racing timing slips, official results, point standings, announcer audio, fantasy racing, and so much more. Don't be left in the dark on race night. Download the My Race Pass app today from Google Play and the App Store. My Race Pass, the ultimate racing resource. The My Race Pass app.
that, 65cc flat track bikes, our R-Box A Main event, 85cc flat track bikes, junior wing karts, 250cc flat track bikes, Sportsman flat karts, 450cc flat track bikes, and then to round off our 3-kart run for the features, we will have our 125 250 wing main event, our Legends Direct main event, and rounding off our 14 race night, we have our Nature Touch Landscaping Micro Sprint class. So once again, for those in the pits, if you are in the first 3 main events, intermediate wing, 50cc flat track bike, or rookie cage, make your way on up to the staging area. If you're hanging out here in the grandstands with myself, feel free to make your way back over to your seats. Alrighty, folks, and just like that, we are set to go for our first A main of our second night of the Harvest Hustle here at Thunder Hill Speedway. Our first main event of the night, intermediate wing class, 8 racers, 15 laps. Inside row number 1, we have your heat race winner, the 28 of Weston Johnson, side by side with the 3J of Jonathan Pettit III out of Winona, Minnesota, 17 of Haas and the 87 of Marthler in row 2, 44 of Smith and 29 of Blazel in row 3, and the 2024 of Martin and the 1S of Seibert rounding out your 8-kart field. We're going to give our karts a couple laps to work in the racing surface after our intermission track prep, but once we are all set and ready to go here, we will be back to some green flag action. Our karts have been given the 1 to go sign, so this time by next lap, we will be racing. Johnson and Pettit are going to lead them into 3 and 4. The green flag flies, and we're intermediate wing racing tonight. Johnson going to lead the way coming out of 2 as we have a whole pack of them coming out onto the backstretch. 4 wide going into 3 for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Out front alone, though, it's the 28 of Johnson leading the way, pulling away from the rest of the field as the 44 of Smith makes their way up from 5th place all the way up to 2nd in just 1 lap. It's Johnson, Smith, Pettit, your top 3. A little bit of space before we get back to Blazel, Seibert, and the 87 of Marthler rounding out your top 6. The 17 of Haas is pulled into the infield, so we're now down to 7 karts in this main event. Out front alone, though, with a commanding lead, it's the 28 of Johnson doing just what he did in the heat race earlier on this evening, leading the pack. Johnson, Smith, Pettit still your top three. Blazel in fourth, and moving up to fifth, the 87 of Marthaler, setting his sights on the 29 of Blazel. Side by side on the front stretch, Marthaler gonna move up into that fourth place position. Now going for the 3J of Pettit. With a full straightaway advantage, it's still Johnson leading the pack coming out of four as Johnson puts another lap in the books. And just like that, Marthaler's able to move onto the inside. Marthaler now up to that final podium spot, setting his eyes on the 44 of Smith, trying to draw Smith in. Johnson, Smith, Marthaler your top three. Pettit, Blazel, Seibert right behind them. Single file throughout the field. But that doesn't mean we don't have battles going on the track as the 3J of Pettit spins it in four, which will draw our first caution of our feature races. Single file throughout the field. We'll get our carts relined up in their correct starting order going on the track before we get back to some green flag action. Pettit spins it in four. Single file throughout the field. But that doesn't mean we don't have battles going on the track as the 3J of Pettit spins it in four. It looks like our starting order is good to go. Johnson gonna lead them onto the backstretch and into 3 and 4. Green flag is out. We're back to racing. Smith ducks down low, trying to see if he can get by Johnson. Nothing going there, but this gives Marthaler a chance to move up on the 44 of Smith. Marthaler looking to the inside, coming out of 4. Looking to the outside on the front stretch, trying just about everything to get by the 44. As the 28 of Johnson slowly but surely pulls away from the rest of the field. Smith slides high, which gives the 87 of Marthaler a chance to look low, but Smith's gonna shut the door. He's not gonna let Marthaler by that easy. Right as I speak though, Marthaler cuts to the inside, moves up to second, and spins in 4 with the 44 of Smith going up on his side. Cuts to the inside, moves up to second, and spins in Marthaler 4. Starts to slide out on 4. The 44 of Smith goes into an avoidance spin, moves up to second, the dirt and just the wrong way, goes up on his side. Moves up we have our track personnel checking up on Smith to make sure everything's okay there. Moves up to second, and spins in 4 with the 40. Cuts to the inside, moves up. We're checking up on the 44 of Reese Smith now, making sure that he's all good. We never want to see a cart go up on their side, so just want to make sure that everything is good to go before we get back to some green flag action here. The 44 of Smith getting pushed up the banking on 4. And it seems like Smith's night has come to a close. We started with 8. We're down to 6 in our first main event of the evening. Our new starting lineup is going to look like this. The 28 of Johnson, the 87 of Marthaler, the 29 of Blazel. Following behind Blazel, we have the 2024 of Martin in that 4th place spot. the 1S of Dylan Seibert. And rounding out your 6 cart field, we have the 3J of Jonathan Pettit. Lineup does look good. Johnson's going to lead them out single file onto the backstretch. Lights are out, green next time by. Green flag is out, and we're back to racing. Blazel looks to the inside of Marthler. Blazel able to make the pass in 1 and 2. Blazel now up to second. Marthler's not going without a challenge, though. Marthler to the inside through 3 and 4 as Blazel slides out in 4. Marthler up to second. Blazel going to try to get back under power, not going to make it work before pulling the caution. Slides out in 4. Without a challenge, though. After causing the caution, Blazel will go to the rear of the field. So now it's Johnson, Marthler, and the 2024 of Martin, your top 3. Seibert, Pettit, and Blazel rounding out your 6 cart field. We'll give them another lap around the track, just make sure everyone is set and ready to go before we get back to some green flag action. Track personnel checking up on the berm for turn number 4, just making sure everything's good there from the couple spins and the cart up on the side that we've had there this evening. Want to make sure there's no liquid spilled onto the track. Everything seems to be good, though, set and ready to go. Lights are out. Johnson leads them on to the backstretch one more time. Through 3 and 4. Green flag is out. Johnson going to lead the way into 1 and 2. Johnson, Marthler, Martin, your top 3. Pettit slowing down in the back. That's going to give Blazel a chance to move up to the inside. Blazel up to 5th, but Pettit's going to fight back. Blazel's got him in the corners. Pettit's got it on the straights. Out front alone, though, like we've been seeing all night, the 28 of Weston Johnson leading the way and pulling away from the rest of the field. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for the 28 of Weston Johnson. And just like that, checkered flag is flying. Give it up for your first feature race winner of the night, the 28 of Weston Johnson. I'll now send it down to Dan Jacobson Sr. in the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane to get a quick couple words from our feature race winner.
Weston drives like he's been doing it his whole life. What a great run. Weston Johnson. Let him hear you out there. Weston, you got your whole team down here, huh?
Yep.
What was the best part of your race tonight?
Winning.
Yeah, that's it. Let's hear it for Weston Johnson.
As Weston enjoys his moment in victory lane here at Thunder Hill Speedway, we'll take a moment to introduce our starting lineup for our first flat track bike feature race of the evening, our 50cc flat track bikes. All four going down the victory lane? Gotcha, thanks. 50cc and Ricky Cage. For our 50cc flat track bike lineup, starting off fresh off a heat race win, the 66 of Cooper Mendiola out of Hudson, Wisconsin. Beside him, we have the 609 of Jacob Hauk from New Ulm, Minnesota, followed by the 6 of Mia Smiley from Lake Mills, Wisconsin, and the 26 of Miley Smiley as well from Lake Mills, Wisconsin. We'll give our bikes one lap to get around the track, get their tires all warmed up, their motors ready to go before we stop them out on our front stretch line and get ready to go green flag racing. Our bikes are all lined up on the starting line. Flagman's gonna wave past each one, make sure they're all good to go. Green flag is out. And leading them into turn number one, it seems to be the 609 of Jacob Hauk leading the way. The 66 of Cooper Mendiola right behind him on his tail. Mendiola catching up into the corners, setting his sights on Hauk, trying to make the pass early in this race. He looks low. He looks high. He's going to tuck in right behind, go to the outside, and 3 and 4, side by side, coming out of 4. Across the front stretch, Cooper's going to be able to make the pass stick. We have a new race leader, ladies and gentlemen, the 66 of Cooper Mendiola. But Jacob Hauk isn't going to go without a fight as he's trying to hold on to the 66's pace. A little bit of space before we get back to the double Smiley crew. In third place, we have the 6 of Mia Smiley. Right behind her, the 26 of Miley Smiley. Up front, it's still Mendiola and Hauk, 1 and 2, setting about a half a lap advantage over the Smiley crew in third and fourth. Passing by Hauk a couple laps ago, that was all Mendiola needed to be able to set his sights on the front. With no one in front of him, he's got a clear track. He's able to grow that gap between him and Hauk in second place. Mendiola having a great weekend here at Thunder Hill Speedway. Under this second race of the year, we've had flat track bikes here earlier in the spring, all the way back in May for the Spring Chicken Challenge. First time bikes are back here since then, and Mendiola's been having a perfect weekend. I believe 2 heat race wins, and now coming up on what could be 2 feature race wins as well. White flag is out. One more lap to go for the 66 of Mendiola. Mendiola comes up on the tail end of the field, but checkered flag is out. Mendiola going to take the feature race win. Jacob Hauk going to finish second. And coming up to the line third, it seems to be the 6 of Mia Smiley taking that last step on the podium, with the 26 of Miley Smiley following in right behind. And with these youngsters, we will be sending everyone over to Victory Lane, so we will have all 4 of our competitors there in Victory Lane getting interviewed for their race. Make sure you give them a huge round of applause right as they get off their bikes.
Yeah, good line. Good.
Don't try to do it.
Cooper and Mindiola. I'll tell you what, that was a good race. It's always fun to see these young kids get going. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Let's let them hear it. How about these kids, huh? Yeah. All right, you guys. Hey. Good job, guys.
With our first bike class out of the way, we'll move back to four wheels here for our rookie cage class. 6 competitors tonight. Starting off on the pole, we have the 60 JR of Mila Baker out of Boyd, Wisconsin, side by side with the 608 of Jace Tarvis from Cameron, Wisconsin. Inside row number 2 sees the 22 of Theo LeBlanc from Menominee, Wisconsin, and the 10 of Ledger Canton. And in that third and final row, we see the Marshallfield, Wisconsin 16 of Benjamin Bargender and the 34 of Brantley Langer from here in good old Menominee, Wisconsin. These carts will be having 12 laps tonight for their main event as we have the green flag flying for our rookie cage class. Bumping and banging through 3 and 4, the 608 of Tarvis going to muscle their way up to the lead of the field. Tarvis putting on a dominating show here in the heat race earlier on tonight, doing the same here tonight in our feature race as he flies through the field with ease. Now, as a reminder, this class, as I said during the heat races, is a little bit different from the rest of the classes we're going to be seeing tonight. So these are youngsters out here, may not be their first time in a kart. It could possibly be, though. So we've got new racers out here learning the sport, learning the kart, learning what being on a dirt track is like. So it won't look like a traditional race. As you saw, we just flew the green flag right away. Give them a chance to get a feel for the track under these quote-unquote racing conditions, see what it's like to get a little competition going. But similar to our 50cc class, we will bring all of our competitors into victory lane at the end of this race. Tarvis still with a blistering pace out there. Right behind him, the 60 JR of Mila Baker holding on strong. And the 34 of Brantley Langer, the hometown hero out of Menominee, Wisconsin. Side-by-side battle going into 1 and 2 between the 22 of LeBlanc, and I believe that's the 10 of Canton as well. Another lap in the books for the 16 of Bargender. Another lap in the books for the 16 of Bargender. Tarvis maneuvering through the field with ease. May be a youngster, but one of the futures of the sport, along with all 6 competitors out here. These are the racers that we will be seeing for the next 20, 30, 40 years out here. White flag is out. One more lap to go for our rookie cage competitors. with the 608 of Jace Tarvis leading the way. And just like that, coming out of 3 and 4 one last time, checkered flag is out. Give it up for the 608 of Jace Tarvis. 10 of Canton and the 60 JR of Baker crossing the line. 16 of Bargender, 22 of LeBlond, and the 34 of Langer. Gonna make his way past the checkered flag as well. Once again, we'll bring all 6 carts into victory lane here, and once they're out of their carts, helmet off, make sure you give them a huge round of applause to our rookie cage competitors.
This is going to be fun. We're going to get every one of them out of the cart because they all kind of win. They all get their laps out here tonight, and nobody's getting scored for a win or anything like that. They're all getting going. So we're going to get them up here and introduce them. Come on, you guys, let's get over here. Introduce yourself to the crowd. They all want to know who you are and what your name is.
My name's Jace Tarvis.
Yeah, get them all lined up here.
Let's line them all up. Just hold on. Let's line them all up.
We're herding cats. Here we go.
I like your paint.
All right, you guys get ready. Put on your best race face. We got one more to come here. Uh-oh. Kind of squeezy getting out. God, this is a great shot. I'll tell you what. This is the future of racing right here. Dun, da, da, da. All right. Let's start again. We're going to have these guys introduce themselves to you. Make them feel really good. All right, here we go.
My name's Jace Tarvis.
And yours?
My name is Brantley.
How old are you?
5.
Wow. What's your name?
Sam.
Yeah? How old are you?
5.
Wow, you guys are all 5. Hi, what's your name?
Ledshirt.
Right.
Mila.
And?
Ben.
Ben. Wow, you guys like racing? Woo! Listen to that crowd. They all love you. Yeah. Great job. Okay, hop back in your cars.
As we give our rookie cage competitors a chance to get back in their carts, we'll get all set and ready for our next motorcycle class of the evening, our 65cc flat track bike competitors. 4 racers tonight lining up. We have the 39 of Styles Smiley leading the way, 65 of Reagan Paratis, fresh off a heat race win, and the 75 of Jace Keel. All 3 of those competitors out of Lake Mills, Wisconsin. And rounding out our 4-bike field, we have the 609 of Jacob Hauk from New Ulm, Minnesota. 4 racers, 8 laps in our 65cc flat track bike class. As a reminder for everyone here, if you have any friends or family that weren't able to make it out tonight, direct their attention to MBTV Sports YouTube channel, where we're live streaming the events of this evening on there. They weren't able to make it out for the final race of the Harvest Hustle here at Thunder Hill Speedway. They can all still enjoy the racing action at home from the comfort of their couches. Four competitors in our 65cc flat track bike class. We'll give them a lap to get the tires all warmed up. Make sure they know how the racing surface is, and then we'll get them stopped here on the starting line. Paratus choosing to start on the outside of the starting stretch. Smiley to the inside. Bikes are ready. Lights are green. And it's going to be the 65 of Paratus rocketing through to the hole shot. Right on his tail, though, it seems to be the 39 of Smiley holding on for a close second place. Paratus, Smiley, Keel, and Paulik, your current running order. Out front, though, the battle is for 1 and 2. Paratus has it. Smiley wants it. A little bobble from Paratus coming out of 4. Smiley looks to the outside. Not quite able to make the pass there. Looks to the inside. This time a bobble from Smiley coming out of 2. Going to create a 2-bike length gap in between the two racers, but that's not going to set Smiley up. Smiley looking high on the backstretch, gonna tuck it down low through 3 and 4. Paratus wobbles in 4. That gives Smiley the shot he needed. Gets up alongside of him in 1 and 2, but they're coming up on lap traffic. How is this gonna affect the battle? Smiley makes the pass stick, able to get past the 608 of Paulik. Smiley is your new official race leader. That gives Smiley the shot he needed. Gets up alongside of him in 1 and 2. But as they're coming up on lap comes up beside, how is this going to affect the battle? Through the lap traffic, Smiley is able to make that gap grow. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for the 39 of Styles Smiley. One final time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag is flying. Styles Smiley is a flat track race winner this evening, folks. The 65 of Reagan Paratus off a heat race win is going to finish second. The 75 of Jace Keel in third. And the 609 of Jacob Hauk going to round out your 4-bike field. We'll give Smiley a chance to race around the track, carrying that checkered flag that he's oh so deserved and earned tonight.
Yeah, I like that number 39 too. Well, that was a heck of a race. Get you guys all lined up. Line up like that. Wow. Styles Smiley. That was a neat race. That was really fun to watch. Where's Styles? Let's get that nice 39 up here. You got her. There we go. Let's hear it. Wow. So can you tell us a little bit about that race? I mean, you were running second. You were tracking them down. You were trying to draft them down the back straightaway. What was going on out there?
I don't know. My brother just gave me a run for my money.
All right. That's the brotherly love there. So it was really great. How did you like this racing this weekend?
Good.
Did you win last night?
No, I got stuck in first, and then my brother won.
So there you go. Got one each. How about it? Let's give them all a big hand.
We'll give our 65cc competitors a chance to enjoy their time in the Thunderhill Speedway Victory Lane. But in the meantime, let's get ready for another kart race main event this evening, our R-Box class. Now, this was one of the classes where we had a B main earlier tonight. We started with, I believe, 20 competitors, and only 14 of them were able to make this A main. 4 directly transferred from each heat race, with 2 transferring through in the B main earlier tonight. So we have 14 competitors for 15 laps in this R-Box main event. Starting off on the pole on the inside of row number 1, heat race 1 winner, the 97 of Levi Haas, side by side with the 44 of Levi Anderson. Inside row number 2, we have heat race winner Jack Canton racing the 10, side by side with the 4 of Luke Pettit from Winona, Minnesota. Inside row number 3, heat race 3 winner, the 3R of Remington Kipka, and outside him, the 20X of Minnesota City, Minnesota's Axel Fahrenholtz. Inside row number 4, we have the 23 of Harper Halapka and the 9A of Carter Lang. Baker and Booth in row 5, Evans and Daniels in row 6, Junker and Haas in row 7. Lights are green, and we're R-Box racing. 97 of Levi Haas going to lead them through 1 and 2. Hot on his tail, though, is the 44 of Anderson and the 4 of Pettit. Pettit trying to get up beside the 44 of Anderson. Not quite able to in 3 and 4. Going into 1 and 2, slides up. Little too high. Anderson still holding on to a solid second, but Pettit not going away from the challenge. Don't count out the 10 of Canton, heat race winner from number 2. He's still trying to mix his way into the battle. We're single file throughout our top 5. Out front alone, though, it's the 97 of Levi Haas. Pettit looks to the outside of Anderson, not able to make the move in 1 and 2. Pettit with the high line, trying to go around the wide side of Anderson. It's still Haas, Anderson, Pettit. Behind them, we have the 10 of Canton and a little bit of space before we get back to the 20X of Fahrenholtz and the 16 of Oakley Booth, last night's main event winner. Just as I say it, the 20X of Fahrenholtz spins out and 1, and that's going to draw our first caution of this main event. We'll give our carts a chance to get relined up. We'll stop them in turn 4 just to make sure that we're able to get them all in the correct starting order. Haas is going to lead them single file into 1. Haas, Anderson, Pettit, your top 3. Well, we get our carts all lined up and ready to go for their restart. Another quick thank you to our sponsors for this evening's Harvest Hustle. Lone Tree Creek Race Park, Colburn Manufacturing Company, and Lewis Bjork and Family Septic Service. We're happy to have them on for the 2024 Harvest Hustle here at Thunderhill Speedway. Lineup is good to go, and the 97 of Levi Haas is going to lead us on to the backstretch. Haas, Anderson, Pettit, Canton, Booth, your top 5. Green flag is out. And Haas is going to pull away from the rest of the field. We're single file throughout the field. But the 4 of Pettit is looking to get up beside the 44 of Anderson and try to make that pass that he was working on earlier. Pettit gets side by side in 1 and 2 onto the backstretch. Pettit with the advantage, able to tuck it down. Pettit now up to second. Setting his eyes on the 97 of Haas. It's Haas, Pettit, and Anderson out front. A little bit of space before we get back to the 10 of Canton and the 16 of Oakley Booth. And then a side-by-side battle between the 23 of Holopka and the 60 of Baker. Booth able to make the pass on Canton. Booth now up to 4th, setting his sights on the podium position right in front of him. With an open track ahead, Haas pulling away, and as I say it, a caution is caused in 3 and 4. Seems to be the 64 of Danielson right in front and the 9A of Lang going around. With an open track right in front of him. Both carts are moving under their power. We'll get them relined up as we stop our carts here on the front stretch to make sure the correct starting order is followed before we get back to some green flag action. Lineup seems to be good so far as we push our carts into turns 1 and 2. After causing that previous caution, the 64 of Danielson and the 9A of Lang will be moving to the back of the field. So we're holding them up here on the front stretch to make sure that the rest of the carts are able to get on by for their correct starting position. Now we are all set and ready to go, which gives the chance for the 97 of Levi Haas to lead the field onto the back stretch to restart this race and get us back to some green flag racing. Green flag is out. Haas leading the way on the front stretch. Pettit right behind in a side-by-side battle as Booth is able to move up onto that final step of the podium. Booth across the 44 of Anderson, but Anderson's not going to stop without putting up a fight. Bumping and banging through 3 and 4. Anderson back up to 3rd. As we have the 21 of Palmer Haas spinning it coming out of 2. That's going to bring out another caution on the evening. We'll stop our carts once again in turn 4. Make sure everyone is in their correct restart order. Another quick reminder, for those who weren't able to make it tonight, make sure you direct their way to MBTV Sports, where we're live streaming the coverage from this evening. And for those at home or here in the grandstands, make sure you like, follow, subscribe. MBTV Sports is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So make sure to follow them for all of your racing footage here throughout the rest of the season and into next year as well. Lineup seems to be good, so we'll send them onto the back straightaway once again. 7 laps to go. Halfway through this 15-lap main event. Green lights flying. Pettit looks to the inside, slides high. That gives a chance for Booth to move up. Booth now in the second place spot, setting their sights on the 97 of Haas. Bumping and banging through 3 and 4. Carts connect, but we're not going to go under caution. Everyone's still moving. This has fully changed up our lineup, folks. Haas and Booth out front alone. Then quite a bit of space before we get back to the 23 of Hlopka now in that final podium spot. The 4 of Pettit just behind, and the 60 of Baker now rounding out your top 5. Pettit previously battling for that second place spot. Now a quarter of a lap behind, gonna have to try to reel back in those top competitors. In 1 and 2, coming out of 2, Booth ducks to the inside, side by side into 3 and 4, not gonna be able to make it stick this time by. Haas still with the advantage. Around lap traffic, Haas makes it by clean, but close. Booth right behind. Booth has the outside. Haas looks to the inside. In 1 and 2, coming out of 2, as we have our laps car spinning in 4, which will draw out another caution. For that second place spot, now a quarter of a lap behind, gonna have to try to reel back in those top competitors. In 1 and 2, coming out of 21 2, of Palmer, Haas spinning to the inside. Haas having a rough night with spinouts.
Yeah, I think in 2, right?
We'll get our carts reordered. Haas, Booth, Hlopka, Pettit, Baker, Anderson, Canton, Kipka, Fahrenholtz, Lang, the rest of the crew following in behind. Green flag is out as Booth ducks to the inside, side by side into 1 and 2. Booth gonna overtake and be your new race leader, but Haas isn't gonna go without a fight. Bumping and banging into 3. Haas looks low, slides up, nothing going there. Haas to the inside in 1 and 2. Side by side through 1 and 2. Haas now with the early lead. Booth side by side. Hlopka right behind the 2, waiting to find a move to go 3 wide. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for our R-Box competitors. Haas has it. Booth wants it. Hlopka wants it as well, as we have 2 more carts spinning in 4. Half a lap left, and boy, oh boy, do we have some great racing action out here tonight. It was Haas. It was Hoff. It was Booth. Haas, Booth, Hlopka, all 3 side by side coming out of 4. Now just to get them back in their correct restarting order, as we do go off without a fight, bumping and banging into 3. Haas looks low. We had a lot of swaps for position in that last half lap. So we want to make sure we have everyone in their correct restart order. And it's going to be Booth leading the way this time by. Booth, Haas, Hlopka, Pettit, Baker, your new top 5. Into 3. Haas looks low. Slides up, nothing going there. Haas to the inside in 1 and 2. And with that, our lineup is good. And we will be doing a green-white checkered to finish this race as Booth leads them single file onto the backstretch. Through 3 and 4, green light is out. Booth leading the way, Haas to the inside, side by side in 1 and 2, bumping and banging. Haas taking over the early advantage, but Booth isn't going to put up with it as we have one kart spinning up and around in 2 and 3, or in 1 and 2. The 21 of Palmer Haas having a rough night with spinouts, almost goes up on his side. And after causing a few cautions this evening, it seems as though the 21 of Palmer Haas's night has come to a close. Without a full lap completed, Booth is still going to hold the lead going into this restart. Booth, Haas, Halapka, your top three going into this green-white checkered final. One last time onto the backstretch. Booth gonna lead the way. Through 3 and 4. Green flag is out. Green-white checkered. Haas to the inside, just like the last restart. Bumping and banging through 1 and 2. Haas now up to the sole lead. The 23 of Halapka trying to make his way up to second as well. Booth isn't going to go for it. White flag is out. One more lap to go for our R-Box competitors. Haas, Booth, Halapka, your top three. One final time through 3 and 4. Booth looking low, not going to let it stick. Checkered flag is out. Haas gonna take the win. Booth gonna finish second. The 23 of Harper Halapka gonna round out your podium for our R-Box main event. We'll give the 97 of Haas a chance to ride around the track carrying his well-earned checkered flag. Before we send it down to Dan Jacobson Sr. in the victory lane area to interview our race winner.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
A race or what? Boy. Give him a minute here. Piling out. What a race. Gee whiz. Levi, what the heck? You look like you've been doing this for 100 years. That's great. Come over on this side of the car, will you? Everybody wants to see you. Because you put on such a heck of a race there. Boy, everybody was trying to get you out of first place. What did you think about all that?
I just try to pass them back.
That's right. Let's hear it for Levi Haas. Here, hold that. There you go. We're good down here. Boy, that was such a cool race. So tell me more. You got a brother in this too?
Yeah, he's number 98.
He is. He's the same. He's in the same class, right?
No, he moved up to class this year. Now he's in junior wing.
Okay, so how old are you?
8.
Gee, I wish I could have been doing this when I was 8. But hey, what's next in your racing career after this car?
Probably a junior wing.
Okay, that sounds really good. We're on the live streaming right now, so we want to make sure that we get a good sound of the crowd giving you woohoo! Let's hear it!
Well, Levi enjoys his time in the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane. We'll get our starting lineup ready to go for our 85cc flat track bike competitors up next. 5 racers in this class, 8 laps. Starting off in the lead, we have the 283 of Chantel Stevens, your heat race winner out of Watertown, South Dakota. Beside her, the 65 of Reagan Paratus from Lake Mills, Wisconsin, the 75 of Jace Keel from Lake Mills, Wisconsin, and the 24 of Styles Smiley as well from Lake Mills, Wisconsin. And rounding out your 5-bike field, we have the 169 of Jackson Ernsting from St. Peter, Minnesota. 5 bikes, 8 laps for our 85cc flat track bike competitors. Or, sorry, 14. Yeah, last night I wasn't out of here until like 11:30 or something. Yeah, rolled into the apartment at a good old 1 a.m. Oh, man. We'll give our bikes a chance to pull up to the starting line here at the flag stand. 5 bikes, 8 laps for our A main of our 85cc flat track bike class. Lights are green, and away we go. And it's going to be the 24 of Styles Smiley with the whole shot this time around. 3 wide going into 3 and 4. Chantel Stevens splitting the middle. Stevens up to second and around Smiley on the outside. Stevens now your race leader. Stevens, Smiley, and the 75 of Keel your top 3. But Keel's not going without a fight. With Keel up whole shot this time. Smiley getting sideways in 3 and 4. Smiley back to 4. 3 wide going into Stevens, Keel, 4. Paratus, your top 3. As Paratus looks to the outside. Keel still holding on to that inside groove. Paratus trying to make the move on the outside. Gonna let it stick coming out of 2. Paratus now up to second. Keel back to third, but out front alone, just like we saw last night and in the heat race earlier today. It's the 283 of Chantel Stevens leading the way, pulling away from the rest of the field. Stevens, Paratus, Keel, Smiley, Ernsting, your top 5 as it currently sits. Evenly spaced throughout the field. Another lap in the books for the 283 of Chantel Stevens. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for Stevens & Co. in the 85cc main event. And one last time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag is in her sights. Give it up for your main event winner, the 283 of Chantel Stevens, taking away the main event win here in the 85cc class. Reagan Paratus going to finish second with the 75 of Jace Keel rounding out your top 3. We'll give Stevens a chance for her lap around the track with the checkered flag. And then we'll take it down to victory lane where we'll get some words with our top 3 competitors.
All right. This is pretty cool. This is really cool. Chantel, you did it again. Second place. Let's hear from you. What was going on in your mind tonight?
Just winning.
Okay. What about you? You sound like you were ready to get in second place there. You were eager to be there.
Yeah, my Uncle Court said he'll throw in an extra $20 if it got top 3, so I'm trying to push.
Wow! That'll buy some more goodies. Chantel, what? Gee whiz, just smoked them both nights. That's it? That's it? All the way from Watertown, South Dakota. Tell us about your trip coming out here. Is this the first time you've been here?
Yeah,
You gonna come back?
hopefully.
All right. Let's get a picture here real quick. You want the flag? Here.
Yeah.
There you go.
As our 85cc competitors finish up in victory lane, we'll get our starting lineup to go for our junior wing class. Now, this was the second class where we had 12 of these competitors transferred directly from their heat races through passing points, with our final 2 competitors making their way through the B main earlier tonight. Inside row number 1, we have the 2024 of Ashton Martin side by side with the 99 of Bentley Halopka. Row number 2, we have dual heat race winners, the 3J of Jonathan Pettit III and the 31 of Grant Keller. Row number 3, we have the 10B of Joseph Bargender and the 100 of heat race winner Joseph Martheler. Tarvis, Haas, Godfrey, Hoffbeck, Gunderson, Johnson, Byrne, Demmel round out your field as we're green flag racing. 2024 of Martin gonna lead the way through this first lap. 99 of Halopka right on his tail. Halopka looks to the outside, but he's got company from the 31 of Keller. Keller, heat race winner, trying to do what he did in the heat race earlier today and take over the early lead. Side by side through 1 and 2. Halopka on the outside, Martin on the inside. Martin holding on strong, but it's the 99 of Halopka who's going to try to make that pass stick. Martin holding on to the lead though, Halopka back to a solid second. Martin, Halopka, Keller your top 3, then a little bit of space before we get back to the 11 of Godfrey and the 3J of Pettit. .31 of Keller goes high, which gives the chance for the 11 of Godfrey to move his way into that 3rd place position. Just like that, Godfrey up to 2nd, side by side with the 99 of Halopka. Initially battling for that lead, now Halopka just trying to keep his 2nd place spot alive. Halopka secures that 2nd place spot. Halopka now in a lone 2nd place. It's Martin still out front alone with no competition. Halopka right behind, Godfrey in 3rd. Then a bit of space before we get back to the 31 of Keller and the 3J of Pettit. Godfrey once again to the inside. Pass going to be able to stick through 3 and 4. Godfrey now up to a solo 2nd place, setting his eyes on the 2024 of Martin. 3 kart lengths separate our 3 top competitors. Ashton Martin out front alone. Godfrey in 2nd. Halopka in 3rd. Another kart to keep your eye on. Currently sitting 7th, the 8 of Alan Byrne, making his way through the B main. Started this race at the very tail end of the field. Now moving up to the 7th place spot. 24 karts initially started in our heat races earlier today. We had to narrow it down to 14 to be able to make this A main event. Out on the front stretch though, Godfrey's able to secure that pass for the lead. Godfrey now up to the number 1 spot, Martin back to 2. Just like that, Byrne spins out, in turn 2, and that's going to draw our first caution of this race. Position swaps left and right, but out front right now, we see the 11 of Jackson Godfrey holding on to the lead, 2024 of Ashton Martin back to second, and the 99 of Bentley Halapka rounding out your top 3 competitors. We'll slow them down in turn 4, make sure we have everyone correctly lined up before we get back to our next restart. Our lineup is good, so we will send Godfrey out front to lead this single file lineup into our first restart of the race. Single file through 3 and 4, lights go green. Godfrey leads them up through 1 and 2. Pass by the 31 of Keller. Keller now up to 4th. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for the 11 of Godfrey. Checkered flag is out. Your feature race winner, as carts are bumping and banging through 3 and 4, Godfrey takes the win. And it's our top competitors spinning in 3 and 4, so it looks like it's the 17 of Callan Haas and the 100 of Joseph Marthaler. Checkered flag is out, finishing second your and third. Your feature race winner, as carts are bumping and banging through 3 Martin and 4. Keller bumping and banging throughout the entirety of the race, holding those top positions right before the checkered flag is out. We're going to send them off as they take the caution. So it's going to be the 11 of Jackson Godfrey from the back of the pack up to take the junior wing feature race win tonight.
Well, here comes the whole crew down here. All right, boy, this guy earned it. Jackson, getting congratulations from the whole team there. Yeah, pop out of there. You're going to be on TV now. Wow. That was spectacular. Yeah. Here he comes. Let's let him hear it. Woo! Yeah. Wow. What a run. What a run. There you go. Let's let him hear it. Jackson Godfrey from Ironton, Minnesota.
Oh. Just throw it. Throw it. Throw it. Here.
Wow. What do you got to say to the crowd? Do you like racing here?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun track. Probably one of the most fun tracks I've ever been to.
You know, you really had to stay with it because you started about middle of the pack, didn't you? Yeah. And what was your key to success tonight?
Just to drive fast and pass as many people as I can.
Ah, that's great, isn't it? Godfrey. Junior wing, Jackson. You know, it's so much fun to be out here with all these great young drivers out here. You know, What's next in your life?
We're probably gonna do another year, but I hope we have a good time for the rest of the remaining of the year. So.
All right, let's let him hear it one more time. All you guys, get in here with the shot so you guys get a good picture. Get the whole team together. That's what it's all about.
As Godfrey gets his glory in the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane, we'll start things out with our next lineup, back to flat track bikes, our 250cc class. 6 competitors tonight. Starting off in the lead, we have heat race winner Xander Figliuzzi out of Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, piloting the 47. Behind him, the 283 of Chase Stevens from Watertown, South Dakota, the 44 of Dan Jacobson out of Stanchfield, Minnesota, the 32 of Gerald Chamberlain from Hillsboro, Wisconsin, Scott Walter racing the 43L from Amory, Wisconsin, and rounding out our 6-bike 250cc main event, we have the 68 of Mike Foley. Our bikes are making their way onto the track. They'll have their 1 lap to go around, get their tires warmed up, ready to go. And now we'll line them up here on the front stretch to get them ready for our 250cc main event. Figliuzzi opting for the very high line here. Stevens looking to the middle low. Everyone else joining there in between the two. Bikes are good to go. Light is green. Jacobson with an absolutely killer start. Jacobson gonna take the whole shot. Figliuzzi right behind him. And the red light is out. It's seeming like Jacobson may have jumped the start there. A look at the quick replay. Jacobson jumping the start, will be sent back to the penalty line after that. Jacobson starting back after jumping the start. Bikes are ready to go. Green light is out. And this time it's going to be Figliuzzi with the whole shot going around. Figliuzzi, Stevens, Chamberlain, your top 3. Walter trying to slide up underneath Chamberlain to take that final podium position, but out front alone, just like we saw in the heat race, it's the 47 of Xander Figliuzzi. Figliuzzi backing it into 1 and 2, sliding sideways as the flat track racers do at this level, leading the pack, growing an advantage over the 283 of Chase Stevens. Figliuzzi, Stevens, Chamberlain, Walter, Jacobson, Foley, your lineup as it sits. Jacobson trying to get around the outside of Walter on the backstretch. Nothing quite there this time. Jacobson's got him in the corners. Walter's got him on the straights. Out front alone, though, and pulling away from the rest of the field, it's the 47 of Figliuzzi sliding into 1 and 2. Jacobson makes the pass on the front stretch. Jacobson now up to 4th. Slides a little high in 1 and 2, but still able to secure the position, setting his sights on the 32 of Chamberlain. Figliuzzi still dominating this 250cc main event as he slowly comes upon the back end of the field. Figliuzzi with a full straightaway advantage over the 283 of Stevens as Jacobson is able to slide up underneath Chamberlain to take over that third place position. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go for the 47 of Figliuzzi up front. And one final time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag is flying for our feature race winner, the 47 of Xander Figliuzzi. Figliuzzi, Stevens, Jacobson gonna be your top 3 in this 250cc main event. Figliuzzi will take his checkered flag lap, and then we'll send it down to Dan Jacobson Sr. in Thunder Hill Speedway's victory lane to get a couple words from our top 3 competitors.
Hey, what'd you tell me?
I know!
They said keep the interview nice and short because we're dragging on time.
Wow, let's hear it. What a race. God, you got out there and just took off. Pretty good trip there. Xander, yeah. Tell us about your race.
I don't know, that track was pretty fun.
Yeah, it looked fun out there. Boy, you were hooked up.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, oh, it's my birthday too. So, anyway, we're running a little bit tight on time, but Dan got a heck of a hole shot there that first one. Don't listen to your dad all the time. Tell me about your race.
Well, it was fun. Track, I loved it. I was hooking up, but thanks to my dad, he helped a lot.
So you're going to come back next year, huh? Hoping to. That's good. Let's get a picture of these guys.
As our 250cc flat track bikes make their way off the track, we'll get ready for our Sportsman flat cart main event. 6 racers in this class, 15 laps. Starting off on the pole, we have the 100 of Drew Alton out of Menominee, Wisconsin, side by side with the 55 of Trayton Vlachek from Rock Falls, Wisconsin. Inside row number 2 sees the 74 of Jake Johnson from Eau Claire, right next to heat race winner Jason Supri from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Inside that third and final row, we have the 555 of Matt Vlachek out of Hudson, Wisconsin, and Dylan Alton racing the 35 from Baldwin, Wisconsin. Green flag is out. Alton gonna lead them on to the front stretch. Alton, Vlachek 1-2 as Vlachek looks to the inside. Side by side through 3 and 4. Alton goes high. And it's going to be Vlachek. Alton now securing the lead out front alone as Vlachek falls back to the second place position. It's Alton, Vlachek. Alton still out front all alone with about a 5 cart length gap before we get back to our second place competitor. And just like that, Matt Vlachek wants to make his way up into the third place position. Matt Vlachek passing the 99 of Jason Supri, heat race winner. It's now Alton, Volchek, 1, 2, 3. Trayton Volchek currently sitting in second. Matt Volchek sitting in third as we're single file throughout the field. Supri getting up into the wall a bit, going to move back to the 5th place position as we have one tire rolling onto the track. That is going to draw out a caution. We'll give our carts a chance to get reordered in their correct starting position. Sitting in third. Lights are out. Green flag this time by. As Drew Alton leads the field onto the backstretch. Supri getting up. Alton, Trayton Volchek, Matt Volchek, Jason Supri. Your top 4. Green flag is out. Alton gonna lead them onto the front stretch. Single file throughout the field. As the 555 of Matt Volchek looks low, nothing going there. Trayton Volchek right up on the tail end of the 100 of Alton. But Alton still in control, leading up front. It still sits Alton, Volchek, Supri. Volchek trying everything he has to get by the 100 of Alton, but nothing quite going there. Ducks low. Alton's able to counter, though. Looks high. Alton up there. Back and forth. Alton slides high in 4. Volchek not quite able to capitalize, though. Alton looks low, side by side through 3 and 4. Volchek now up to the lead, bunking and banging as Matt Volchek tries to get in on the action. Matt Volchek now up to second. Alton able to counter. Alton slides up, bangs into 4. White flag is out. Alton, Matt Volchek now up to second as Matt Volchek slides down to the inside. Matt Volchek, your new race leader. Alton to the inside. Trayton Volchek to the inside as well. Side by side, who's it gonna be? Ladies and gentlemen, that one was too close for me to call. Side by side at the checkered flag, the 555 of Matt Volchek and the 100 of Drew Alton. Ladies, by side, who's it gonna be? Ladies, and it looks to be the 100 of Drew Alton taking the win. For me to call side by side, no way there was more than an inch gap between the two. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Alton who secured most of the race lead throughout the evening. He's going to be going around with the checkered flag tonight.
Getting out of the car. Wow, what a race. Do you have any idea what they were all doing out there? You got pounded on, you got passed. all that stuff after leading it so smoothly. Tell me about your race.
Yeah, my dad was giving me signals in turn one, and he just kept telling me they're right on me, and I knew I had to start playing defense, and you know, it's played out in our favor. I didn't think I got him there, but surprisingly we did, and we had a really good go-kart. I didn't know where to go in 3 and 4. Tried the bottom, I tried the top, and the bottom was not there. So I don't know. We learned a lot this weekend. I'm glad that we came.
Let's let them hear it, folks. Get them squared up here for a good photo shot. Thank you so much.
I want to thank all my sponsors, High Performance Specialties, Tri-City Contractors, Lauren and the Bush family, Pro Power, TLB, my grandparents, my brothers here, my stepmom and my dad and my grandma and grandpa do so much for me, and I wouldn't be here today without them.
That was a fabulous run. Great. Yeah. There you go. What a race. Holy smokes. You guys really put on a heck of a show here.
You guys can go.
Wow.
Up next, we're back to our final flat track bike main event of the evening, our 450cc class. 9 competitors leading this race out, but up front, fresh off a feature race win and a heat race win earlier today, we have the 47 of Xander Figliuzzi out of Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, side by side with other heat race winner Jacob Walter from Amory, Wisconsin, racing the 76. Behind them, we have the 251 of Scott Walter, the 25 of Corton Van de Zand, the P51 of Paxton Wentz, 67 of Kevin Walter, Miles Morris piloting the 22, Bo Sharp on the 89, and rounding out our 9-bike field, we have the 18 of Justice Lund. 9 racers, 12 laps for our 450cc main event tonight. We'll give a chance for all of our bikes to line up. Green light is out. Who's it going to be? Leading us into 1 and 2. The whole shot is going to go to the P51 of Paxton Wentz leading the way. Right behind him, though, it's a side-by-side battle between Figliuzzi and the 76 of Jacob Walter. Wentz, Figliuzzi, Jacob Walter, but right behind him, now moving up to third, we have the 67 of Kevin Walter. 3 Walters in this race tonight. Wentz, Figliuzzi, Jacob Walter, Kevin Walter, your top 4. Just behind Kevin Walter, the 18 of Lund. Stacked field here tonight for our 450cc flat track bikes. Wentz has the preferred line, but he's got 2 hungry fighters right behind him. Figliuzzi, fresh off his win in the 250 class, trying to secure that second feature race win as he slides up into the 76 of Jacob Walter. We've got the group of 3 up front, side by side, Figliuzzi and Walter, and then a little bit of space before we get back to the 67 of Kevin Walter, and the 18 of Lund. Wentz still holding on to a secure lead, but it's Jacob Walter up to the side. Walter trying to take the outside line. It's a drag race on the backstretch. It's still Wentz going into 3 and 4, side by side, coming up onto the front stretch. Wentz to the inside, Walter to the outside. Walter able to secure the pass on the backstretch. Jacob Walter, your new race leader. Jacob Walter, Paxton Wentz, Figliuzzi, your 1, 2, 3. Figliuzzi now trying to look to the inside of Wentz to make the pass for second. Out front alone and pulling away from the rest of the field, it's the 76 of Jacob Walter, one of your heat race winners, trying to secure this feature race win. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go for the 76 of Jacob Walter. Walter, Wenz, Figliuzzi, 1, 2, 3. And one last time out of 3 and 4. Checkered flag is out for your feature race winner, the 76 of Jacob Walter. Walter gonna take the feature race win. Figliuzzi and Wentz gonna finish second and third side by side.
Tell me a little bit about your race out there.
Well, I was just trying to find traction. That's all I needed.
Okay.
Hey, that was sweet, huh?
That was really something else. You have fun out there tonight?
Oh yeah.
Holy smokes! What a race! You guys put on a heck of a show. And Jacob, holy smokes! You found that happy groove on the top.
Yeah.
We talked about that earlier tonight.
Yeah, I was just looking for the moisture on the top. We were running the bottom all day, and the moisture came up, the sun went down, and man, I went up there one time because these guys were on the bottom and found all that traction. Oh shit, it's hooked up! Let's go! And rode around top of them. So that was sweet. I'm stoked. Thanks for having us, guys. It's a lot of fun.
You want to thank anybody else?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank my dad. It's not possible without him. He hauls my bike to the track. Jerry from General Engineering, O'Neill, anybody else I'm forgetting. Sorry, I'm smoked, guys. I'm so tired.
You deserve to be really jacked. That was a heck of a run. I loved watching that race. All right, let's hear it for all these guys. Here.
Oh, heck yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, got to fix you up with the right prop.
And just like that, we bring our flat track bikes to a close on the evening, which brings up our final run of kart races. 125 250 wing up next. Legends direct class to follow, and rounding out our evening, we have our natural touch landscaping micro sprints to finish us off tonight. For our 125 250 wing class, we have 10 competitors tonight. Row number 1 sees our 2 heat race winners, the 8 of Brody Conkey and the 22 of Davin Hawk. Inside row number 2, from Pella, Iowa, the 52 of Knox Peterson, side by side with the 20S of Cooper Sunby from Menominee, Wisconsin. Row number 3, we have Riley Dawson piloting the 6D out of Indianola, Iowa, and Brexton Platts racing out of Mason City, Iowa on the 13B. Inside row number 3, we have the 2.0 of Jackson Helen from Cadott, Wisconsin, side by side with the 29 of Dorchester, Wisconsin's Abigail Blazel. And inside that 5th and final row, out of Balsam Lake, Wisconsin, the 311 of Jamison Schur and the 25 of Sky Peterson out of Pella, Iowa. We've given our racers their chance to warm their engines for their main event. And now we'll get them doubled up and ready to go, feature racing. Our carts are lined up, ready to go in their correct starting order. Lights are out. We'll be green flag racing this time by. Pedal to the metal, flag is flying. Conkey and Hawk gonna lead your way into 1 and 2. Side by side through 3 and 4. Hawk to the inside, Conkey to the outside, but it's gonna be Conkey securing the sole lead on the backstretch and pulling away from the rest of the field. Your two heat race winners out front now, but Conkey pulling away from the rest of the crowd. 22 of Hawk holding on for a solid second. Right behind them, we have the 60 of Dawson rounding out your top 3. 52 of Peterson and the 20S of Cooper Sunby just behind them. Sunby gets sideways, able to keep moving, but we have one kart going around in 1 and 2. Gonna draw our first caution of this main event. Rounding out your top 3. 52 of Peterson and the 20S seems to be the 2.0 of Helen going around in 1 and 2. Helen back up and at him. We're going to get these sides relined up before restarting this race. 52 of Peterson and the 20S of Cooper Sunby just behind them. Sunby gets sideways, able to keep Dawson your top 3. Peterson just behind. 20S of Sunby behind them. Lights are out. Conkey gonna lead our way onto the backstretch. Pedal to the metal, bumping and banging through 3 and 4. As we have one kart off the pace, seems to be the 52 of Peterson with some issues going into 1 and 2. Which is gonna draw the caution. Peterson bumping and banging through 3 and 4 on that restart. Gonna come to a stop here on the backstretch. Seems to be having some issues with that kart. Fortunately, nothing will be able to get to right this second. It seems they are pushing the 52 of Knox Peterson into the infield. We have one kart off. Come to a close. After causing the caution, Helen going to go to the back of the field. Retake that spot. Lineup is all good to go now. Conkey, Hawk, Dawson leading your way on to the backstretch. Lights are out, and away we go as Hawk leads us onto the front stretch. Single file throughout the field. Nice little battle there going on at the back of the pack between the 29 of Blazel and the 2.0 of Helen, hoping to make up for some lost time. Helen now up to 6, setting his sights on the 13B of Platts in 5th. Platts goes low, Helen goes lower. Nothing quite able to go that time around. Single file, evenly spaced as the 29 of Blazel is off the pace on the backstretch. Blazel able to pull it into the infield, not drawing the caution. Helen making the pass on Platts to the inside. Helen now up to 4th. Helen up to 5th, my bad. It's still Conkey, Hawk, Dawson, and the 20S of Sunby. Out front alone though, with a bent wing up top from bumping and banging. The 8 of Conkey still leads the way. Now 2 turns ahead of the 22 of Davin Hawk. Honky, Hawk, Dawson, 1, 2, 3. White flag is out. One more lap to go for the 8 of Brody Conkey. Your heat race winner earlier today does it just like he wanted in this feature race. One final time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag is out for the 8 of Brody Conkey, taking home the 125-250 win feature race this evening. We'll give Conkey a chance to take his checkered flag throughout the field and then make his way into the Thunder Hill Speedway victory lane down below for a quick interview with our 125-250 wing race winner.
Might have been a little. Might have been a little pressure on this wing, you think? One of the brackets came loose up here, but you can see how much energy is pushing against those wings in the corner to bend her crooked like that. All right, yeah, Brody. There you go. Now you look official. My mic working? Brody, look at this. You customized the wing.
I have honestly no idea how that happened. It didn't seem to make much of a difference, though.
Yeah, you were hooked up and going, man. That was really looking good. Let's go over on this side of so that we can look up at the TV camera there. Wave to the camera. Tell all your friends about your race tonight.
Well, we started on the pole, and I was kind of feeling a little mad before I went in, but once I got out there and realized that I could hold the bottom pretty well, I was like, I got this secured.
That feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How many checker flags you get this year?
I think this is number 6 or 7, one of the two.
Yeah, it looks like you're not brand new to doing this stuff.
Not my first time.
Yeah, who do you want to thank tonight?
I'd like to thank Liberty Tire, Ground Smart Mulch. I'd like to thank my uncle and my dad for always coming out to help me and even putting up with me every single week. I'd like to thank Mom, Corey, Michelle, my sister, my brother, all of them.
Great, that's super. Let's get some photos with you. One more round of applause here for Brody. Come on, get in here.
Well, Brody finishes up in the Thunder Hill Speedway victory lane. Let's get our starting lineup ready to go for our Legends Direct class, sitting in turn number 4. In row number 1, our dual heat race winners on the inside, the 64 of Chris Sleep out of Osseo, Wisconsin, side by side with the 7 of Shadow Kashadi out of Arkansas, Wisconsin. Row number 2, we have the 49 of Aiden Erickson from Cumberland, Wisconsin, next to Hayden Schmuel racing the 59S out of Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. Row number 3 sees the 94 of Levi Brower from Ridgeland, Wisconsin, next to the 14T of Beaver Dam, Wisconsin's Talon Newman. Shadow Kitchener starting second, my bad. Josiah Kashadi on the inside of row number 4. racing the 7K out of Ramsey, Minnesota, side by side with the 29 of Abigail Blazel out of Dorchester, Wisconsin. Inside row number 5, we have the 7F of Lily Fassbender out of Burnett, Wisconsin, next to the 57 of Cade Reisdorf from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. And rounding out our 11-car field, we have the 22G of Mark Brower out of Colfax, Wisconsin. 11 cars, 20 laps for our Legends Direct class. Sleep and Kitchener starting out on the front row. Our 2 heat race winners from earlier in the evening. The lights go green. Sleep gonna lead the way into 1 and 2. Up on the high line, though, the 7 of Shadow Kitchener, side by side with the 64 of Sleep, our dual race leaders going through lap 1. Early advantage going to go to the 64 of Sleep, but Kitchener hot on his tail up on the outside line. Don't count out the 59S of Schmuel, though, just behind Kitchener. Sleep, Kitchener, Schmuel 1, 2, 3. Brower just behind on the inside line with the 49 of Erickson just outside on the... Out front alone, it's the 64 of Chris Sleep. Heat Race 1 winner, holding on strong to the lead. Shadow Kitchener right behind in second, racing the 7. Just behind him, a side-by-side battle for third and fourth between the 94 of Brower and the 59 of Schmuel. Sleep, Kitchener, Brower, Schmuel, Kashadi, your top 5, going into 3 and 4. S of Schmuel with the ultra high line, 3 wide going into 3 and 4. Brower on the inside, Kitchener in the middle, Schmuel up top. Schmuel slides back, Brower now up to second, Kitchener back to third. It's Sleep, Brower, Kitchener your top 3, Schmuel just outside, then a little bit of space before we get back to the 7K of Kashadi. Slowly coming up on some lap traffic, the 57 of Reisdorf. This might play into some of our action here during these final few laps of the main event. Halfway through, 10 laps down, 10 to go. Reisdorf taking the high line. Sleep able to duck down to the inside along with Brower. They're past the lap traffic. But now it's 3 wide through 1 and 2. Kashadi now up to third. Kitchener back to fifth. Schmuel in fourth. It's Sleep, Brower, Kashadi, Schmuel, Kitchener. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just outside our top 5, we have the 14T of Newman and the 7F of Fassbender making their way into the mix. The battle up front for the lead, though. Sleep has it. Brower wants it. Brower's been battling this entire main event, trying to take over that front spot. But we draw the caution as we have a tire in turn 3. Our track personnel are going to go up, remove that tire from the racing surface before we get back to some green flag action. Sleep, Brower, Kashadi, Schmuel, Kitchener your top 5, Newman, Fassbender, the 49 of Erickson just behind. Then it's Blazel, Brower, and rounding out your field, the 57 of Reisdorf. Lights are out. Our lineup is good to go. We're single file. Green flag is flying. Sleep's gonna lead them into 1 and 2. Brower bumping and banging, getting sideways as Kashadi pushes him around. Brower going around in 1 and 2. Brower bumping and banging with Sleep into 1 and 2. Tried to take the ultra low line. Nothing there. Got into Kashadi. Lead them into 1 and 2. Around. Brower bumping and banging, getting sideways as Kashadi pushed. Green flag is flying. This will put the 94 of Brower at the back of the field after causing that last caution. We'll now take a chance to get our cars relined up. Taking a moment to make sure we have the correct restart order here. Into 1 and 2. Brower bumping and banging, getting sideways as Kashadi pushes them around. Brower going. Our lineup as it stands, the 64 of Sleep, the 7K of Kashadi, the 59 of Shmuel. Your top 3. And it seems like the 94 of Brower actually going to make his way back up to the front. Brower now moving back into that second place spot that he had previously been holding on to. Lights are out. Lineup is good. Green flag is flying. Sleep's gonna lead the way in 1 and 2. It's Sleep, Brower, Kashadi, Shmuel with the high line as we're 3 wide coming out of 2. Brower bumping and banging with Sleep in 3 and 4, trying to muscle his way into that inside line. Shmuel in 4th, the 14T of Newman trying to take over that spot on the inside line. Shmuel working the extreme high groove through 1 and 2. It's Sleep, Brower, Kashadi, Shmuel, Newman. As we have the 57 of Reisdorf pulling off the track. Reisdorf's nights come to a close. Brower goes high. That gives Kashadi the chance to go to the inside. Side by side through 3 and 4. Kashadi, your new race leader. Kashadi taking over the lead and absolutely pulling away from the rest of the field. White flag about to go out, but as we have 2 cars spinning in 1 and 2. Seems to be the 94 of Brower. 3 cars actually. 94 of Brower, the 7 of Kitchener, and the 59 of Shmuel. It seems as though that last restart we had, from the tire that went out onto the track in 3 and 4, that was what that previous caution was called on, which is why Brower was able to gain his spot back at the lead of the field. This time around, however, we'll see how our new lineup stands as Brower and Schmuel make their way to the back of the field. Kitchener's night has come to a close as the 7 of Kitchener pulls to the infield. That puts Brower and Schmuel at the back of the field. So out front, our new lineup seems to be the 7K of Kashadi, the 64 of Sleep, the 14T of Newman, the 7F of Fastbender, and the 49 of Erickson, your new top 5. Lights are out. Kashadi leading them onto the front stretch. Green flag is flying. It's Kashadi, Sleep, Newman 1, 2, 3, as we're single file throughout the field. White flag is out, one more lap to go for Kashadi. And just like that, one final time through 3 and 4, checkered flag is out for two-time race winner this weekend, the 7K of Josiah Kashadi. First year back on dirt since 2017. Kashadi's been racing 12 years, only 16 years old. So we'll give Kashadi a chance to run around the track with his checkered flag. He's so well deserved. And then we'll get a couple words from him in the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane.
How do you say his name? Kashadi? Okay, got it. Take your time. You're good to go, man. Good run.
Let's go!
Yeah, let's hear it for him. Hey, let's hear about it. Tell us about your race.
Man, I did not think that was going to happen at all. You know, there's a really good group of drivers out here. Started on the bottom looked good, and I just kept marching my way forward. The incident with the 94, that was totally my fault. But he got his spot back. That was good, and we just kept driving, and here we are.
Yeah, that was really something. It was so much fun to watch. I'm sure the crowd really liked that. You want to thank a few people?
Yeah, first I'd like to thank the Lord Jesus Christ. He really helped me on this one. I'd like to thank all you guys for coming out. Thank you. Glad we could put on a show. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Procore Indoors, Maple Grove, Tribe 9 Performance Lubricants, Jerry's Aber, All Buying Glass, J&L Collectibles, A+ Stump Grinding, Yoder Farms, Eric Bolenson, Misso Diamond Cut, Terry and Judy Burnham, and everyone else that I've forgotten. But I'd like to thank you guys for coming out. Hopefully you enjoyed.
Hey, tell us about these other guys. They look like they might be friends of yours.
So these are my brothers and my little sister, my mom and dad. This is Jackson. He ran the legend car for the regular season. This is actually his car. This is not mine. So I'm glad I didn't wrecked it, or otherwise he would be very mad at me.
Yeah, he made the most
yeah,
out of it.
come on.
He made the most out of it, so by the grace of God. So
you want to say something too? I can see it.
Well, I'm just very blessed. You know, we have a very small racing team, and it's not easy for all of us three to race at once, but with all the people on the car and by the will of God. And I just want to thank Thunder Hill Speedway. We were gonna sell this car, but for Thunder Hill Speedway welcoming these legend cars, it was a good idea to come over, and it seems to be doing really well.
What's your name?
Lexi.
Okay, what do you think about all this racing? You got a race car yet?
Nope.
Is that something you're going to do though?
No, I'm not.
How about it? Let's hear it for one more time. Here, get out in front and get some photos and stuff with everybody, okay?
Alrighty, folks, that brings us to our last main event, not only of the night, not only of the Harvest Hustle weekend, but of our 2024 season here at Thunder Hill Speedway. One more race to go, and we have our Nature Touch Landscaping Micro Sprints about to head out. 20 laps, 14 racers. Inside of row number 1, we have the 88 Heat Race 2 winner, Caleb Moen out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, side by side with the 2X of Rock Valley, Iowa's Clint Nelson. Inside row number 2, we have Mason Schubert racing the 99 out of Welch, Minnesota, and fellow Heat Race winner, the C71 of Carter Jensrud, fresh off his birthday celebrations last night. Row number 3 sees the 26P of Jackson Peters from Waupun, Wisconsin, and the 128 of Marshall Willing from Becker, Minnesota. Inside row number 4, we have the X of Duluth, Minnesota's Paul Residlow, and the 249X of Brennan Newville out of Clear Lake, Wisconsin. Inside row number 5, we have the 28 of Mason Hale from Trempealeau, Wisconsin, and the 19L of Landry Singleton out of Mora, Minnesota. Inside row number 6, we have the 4J of Princeton, Minnesota's Joe Snow, side by side with Maddie Hale, racing the 28X out of Trempealeau, Wisconsin. And rounding out our 7-row field, we have the 10 of Owen Henricks from St. Cloud, Minnesota, side by side with the 323 of St. Michael, Minnesota's Tyler Polofsky. "14 racers, 20 laps. We'll get our carts all lined up and ready to go for our final feature race of the 2024 season. The moment we've all been waiting for, folks. Looks like the X of Paul Residlow is having some issues. They're trying to get him refired on the infield. We'll see if Residlow is able to make his main event. Residlo taking a couple moments, seeing if they'll be able to figure everything out and get this kart started before we go green flag racing momentarily. Residlo being pushed off the track. Seems as though Residlo's night might be coming to a close. With this change in lineup, we'll give our karts a chance to get reordered in their correct starting orders now. Out front still, it's Moen and Nelson side by side. Schubert and Jensrud behind them. Peters and Willing in row 3. Scrapping Residlo. The rest of the field in tow. Seems as though we also have something going on up in turns 3 and 4. Part of our track crew keeping an eye out. All good there. So we'll get our karts lined up. Lights are out. Green flag next time by. Moen and Nelson lead their way out of 3 and 4. Moen with the early race lead. Up on the high line, however. I believe that might be the 99 of Mason Schubert, as we have karts spinning, bumping, and banging in 3 and 4. I believe that might be the 99 of Mason Schubert, as we have karts spinning, bumping, and banging in 3rd. I believe that might be the... No start there, so we'll be getting our karts relined back up in their original starting order before going back to green flag action here. Karts spinning, bumping, and banging in 3 and... Lineup is good. We're in 2x2 order. Lights are out. Moen and Nelson lead us onto the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4. Green flag is flying. It's Moen and Schubert 1 and 2. Schubert with the extreme high line, rocketing onto the backstretch, but it's Moen that's taking the early race lead. Moen and Schubert high. It's the 26P of Peters down on the inside in 3rd. 3 wide coming out of 2 and 3. Bumping and banging up in the wall. It's still Moen and Schubert 1 and 2. Jensrud now up to 3 as we have 1 kart spinning in 2. The 2X of Nelson going around in 2. Parting ways around them. This will put Nelson to the back of the field after causing the caution. So we'll get our karts relined up. Moen, your race leader, out front. As we line up in our Delaware double file restart formation on the back stretch. It's Moen out front alone. Schubert and Jensrud sharing that first full row, with Mason Hale and the 26P of Peters right behind them. Lights are out. Pedal to the metal. We're micro sprint racing once again as Moen leads the pack into 1 and 2. Schubert with the extreme high line trying to slingshot around, but Jensrud's got the low line. Jensrud able to hold on. Side by side on the front stretch. Jensrud in 2, Schubert in 3. Out front alone though, it's Moen. Moen, Jensrud, Schubert, Peters, Hale your top 5. Moen, Schubert, Peters racing that ultra high line. Jensrud and Hale racing the low line, with the 249X of Brendan Newville just behind them in 6th. Our top 4 competitors side by side as the 26 of Peters bumps into the wall up on the high line. Moen, Schubert side by side going into 3 and 4. We might be seeing a pass for the lead developing. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new race leader as the 99 of Schubert's able to make his way around the 88 of Moen. Schubert now up to 1 as the C71 of Jensrud sprints it in 1 and 2. Jensrud battling for the lead there, going to spin it in 1 and 2 and push him to the back of the field. The 88 of Moen, Schubert now as the C71 of Jens, the 88 of Moen, Schubert now up to 1. The 88 of Moen, Schubert now up to 1. Schubert now your race leader, out front alone. Jensrud sprints it. And as we get relined up in our Delaware double file restart, battling, it'll be the 26P of Jackson Peters and the 99 of Mason Schubert sharing that first full row. Lights are out. Schubert leads them onto the backstretch. Peters and Moen 2 and 3. Hale and Newville 4th and 5th. Green flag is flying. It's Schubert up high. Peters and Hale down low. Schubert hitting the wall in 3 and 4. Still holding on to the secure lead. It's Schubert, Moen, Peters, Hale, Snow now up into the top 5. And just like that, Schubert is pulling away from the rest of the field. That high line working for him, getting bumping and banging, getting into the side of the wall there in the middle of 3 and 4, but it's still working just fine for him. Schubert, Moen, Hale now up to 3, battling with the 26P of Peters. Hale with the low line, Peters with the high line. As we have 7 laps to go in on this 20-lap main event. That high line getting used and abused by our kart racers in both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right in the middle, the apex of the high line. There seems to be something going on that's catching the rear end of our racers. Now as we get up to lap traffic, let's see how this develops in our fight for the lead. Schubert out front, Moen in second, then a straightaway advantage before we get back to Hale and Peters in 3 and 4. Up front alone, it's still the 99 of Schubert as he makes his way past his first lap car. The 2X of Nelson might cause some issues, as he's also using that ultra high line. So we're gonna have to see Schubert make some changes. White flag is out, one more lap to go for the 99 of Schubert. And just like that, one final time through 3 and 4, checkered flag is out for your final feature race winner of the season. The 99 of Mason Schubert taking the win here tonight. Fireworks galore as we've hit our final race win of the 2024 season.
What do you think of that, huh? Was that a show or what, huh? Mason, what a commitment to that top line, boy. I tell you what, that was really doing good. Tell us about your race.
I don't know, geared it for the top, so we stuck with it. Got pretty sketchy in 3 and 4 in the middle there, but let her eat.
Jeez. Tell you what, you had a pretty good time here the last couple nights. Who do you want to thank?
Thank Cannon River Raceway, my mom and dad, and myself.
That a boy. Let's get a picture out here. Give him a big round of applause. And I think he's got a fan club over here. Get over here. Come on. Everybody's in the party. There you go. Look at these guys. I don't know that we'd have time to interview them all. Hey, look at that. There you go. What a day, what a day. What a weekend.
As Mason enjoys his time in the Thunder Hill Speedway victory lane, I just want to take one last opportunity to thank you all for coming out. For those who are out here tonight and those watching the live stream on MBTV Sports, I'd like to thank everyone not only for supporting us tonight, this weekend at the Harvest Hustle, but this entire 2024 race season at Thunder Hill Speedway. For one last time, on behalf of everyone here, we'd like to thank you all and remind you, racing is for the tracks only. Drive safe on your way home, and thank you all for coming out. We look forward to seeing you next year.
Freight is the backbone of the country, and as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bohl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small, we love them all. But we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years. Freight is the backbone of the country. And as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bohl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going...
Kevco has been an industry leader in high-performance oil pans and components for over 35 years. Made in Fairmont, Minnesota, Kevco prides itself on being American-made. Kevco has expanded our product line way beyond just oil pans to valve covers, breather systems, jack stands, boilers, wheel sockets, and much, much more. Check out KevcoRacing.com to see everything we have to offer, including our line of street, off-road, and performance oil pans and accessories. Or call 800-770-3557 to talk with our friendly customer service today.
My two passions in life is racing and selling good high-end meat. So my grandfather came here from Germany back in the late 20s. He decided to open his own shop in 1951. He had all the recipes, he had all the talent. His father was a meat guy. His father's father was a butcher. They weren't football players, basketball players. They were in the meat business. And that's our family. That's what we're good at. Old World Meats was derived from Frank's Meats. That was my grandfather's name. I know the quality of my beef is the best because I've purchased it directly from the ranchers that certified Angus beef. We know what our beef is continuously and it's very consistent. So we're located up here in Duluth on beautiful Lake Superior, just a stone throw off of Highway 61. I've lived here my whole life and it's where I wanted to raise my family. To be successful, you need to have a talent. And I knew I was going to be in the meat business. I can taste spices, I can pick out flavors, where they need to come in, where they need to stop. So knowing your strengths are important and knowing where you came from. We have a hot snack stick that's got actually 8 different spices of heat in that, and it layers the flavors in the heat. That's what makes the difference with our product. The most exciting part was becoming coast to coast with the Old World Meats snack sticks. My neighbor stopped me on the street and said, "Paul, I was just down in Georgia and this gas station had your product." It was one of the highlights of the year. I don't know of a state at this point that we haven't had product in. Being in business in a small town really puts things into perspective. It's the little things for me to be appreciated and respected. So this whole operation here, it doesn't have to be the biggest, but it needs to have passion. And today, I'm changing lives of people that work with me. My guys are learning lifelong skills and values. That's the good stuff. Let's make the world a better place. Let's have a good time at it. My two passions in life is racing and selling good high-end meat. So my grandfather came here from Germany back in the late 20s. He decided to open his own shop in 1951. He had all the recipes, he had all the talent. His father was a meat guy. His father's father was a butcher. They weren't football players, basketball players. They were in the meat business. And that's our family. That's what we're good at. Old World Meats was derived from Frank's Meats. That was my grandfather's name. I know the quality of my beef is the best because I've purchased it directly from the ranchers that certified Angus beef. We know what our beef is continuously, and it's very consistent. So we're located up here in Duluth on beautiful Lake Superior, just a stone throw off of Highway 61. I've lived here my whole life, and it's where I wanted to raise my family. To be successful, you need to have a talent. And I knew I was gonna be in the meat business. I can taste spices, I can pick out flavors, where they need to come in, where they need to stop. So knowing your strengths are important and knowing where you came from.